What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7 Shish. The 141st chapter is suffocated to the ultimate Luo. At the difficulty level of 6, even Lu Chen had never thought of how many powerhouses. Among them, Lu Chen is most optimistic about this Enel. Almost beyond the scope of observation hockey of everyone in One Piece, and the Thunder Fruit of Logia, which is almost invincible in damage and speed. This Luo, afraid of bad luck. If it's someone else's word, it's really hard to tell the outcome, but Enel's words. I don't know how long Luo can last. In the original book, Luffy was able to beat Luo or Rubber Fruit's fruit restraint, plus the old thief's eccentricity for Luffy. Not only does Luo not have the aura of Luffy's protagonist, he also doesn't have a rubber body that can withstand lightning and lightning. He wants to defeat Enel, obviously impossible. Inside the arena, Luo looked at Enel in front of him with a puzzled expression in his eyes. Sky Island, for the people of Qinghai, 053, is even regarded as a legend. Most people think it doesn't exist. Of course Luo is not so superficial. However, Luo had never been to Sky Island, so he was naturally even more ignorant of the god of this Sky Island. The unfamiliar opponent made Luo a little dignified. Need a hint for you. At this moment, Lu Chen's voice sounded above the arena. Luo said sarcastically, don't you consider yourself a rule maker and won't break the rules? Aren't you going to abide by it now? Being mocked by Luo, Lu Chen smiled slightly and was not angry. If that's the case, let's get started. Talking. A snap of fingers. Enel, who was standing opposite Luo, moved. Looking at Luo in front of him, Enel asked blankly, are you my enemy? When Enel moved, Luo didn't dare to be careless. Directly stretched his hand forward. Room. As the fruit ability unfolds, an invisible circle appeared around Luo. However, this range is a bit small, and the radius is definitely no more than 10 meters. God's punishment. Enel stood where he was, not in a hurry to attack. He was just a phantom projected by Lu Chen, and he only had the fighting instinct at this time. He didn't know the ability that Luo showed, so he planned to use the remote to test it first. A piercing thunder beam fell in an instant. As the thunder fell, a huge thunder beam instantly penetrated Luo's room, the so-called surgical space. Terrible attack power, the fruit of thunder. This blow, even if it can't kill Luo, is definitely enough to seriously injure him. However, he had foreseen it in advance. The space transfer of the room made him move to a safe place in an instant. It seems to be an interesting ability. Enel on the opposite side grinned. Obviously, he is very satisfied with such an opponent as Luo. Knocked towards the back, one after another huge and fierce thunder appeared in an instant. 30 million volts, Thunder Beast. Shout out with the trick name. A huge, somewhat fox-like Thunder Beast was summoned by Enel. Going in the direction of Luo like crazy. It seems that Luo can't even force Enel's full strength. Seeing this scene, Lu Chen was also a little pity. Enel was only reduced to the 6th difficulty because he didn't know armament hockey. If let him learn armament hockey, then give some combat experience. Not to mention staying on difficulty 6, it is possible to rise to difficulty 8. It can only be said that Luo's luck is really bad. This time, Luo should choose difficulty 5, right? In the 5th difficulty, there are really not many people who can make Luo fail. Lu Chen has already started to think about what level of training to assign to Luo. He still really wants to get the immortality technology of Op Fruit. Of course, the most important thing is how to get rid of the side effect of immortality surgery. Damn it. In the arena, although Luo has not failed yet. But the whole body was covered in bruises. When facing Enel, he can only dodge, and attack is out of the question. Even if the space in this arena is limited, it effectively prevents Enel from dodging. But that is the speed of thunder, and it is not much less than the speed of light. As long as Enel wants to. It's impossible for Luo to catch up with Enel. Not to mention, today's Enel is just a phantom of battle, only victory in his eyes, and there is no mentally retarded idea of underestimating the enemy and teasing the opponent. Today's Luo wants to defeat Enel, it is completely impossible to talk about. At this time, there are 30 million volts Thunder Beasts, 30 million volts Thunderbirds, and 60 million volts Thunder Dragons surrounding the room. Under the squeeze of the 3 behemoths. As the owner of the room, Luo was almost squeezed out of the room. 9. Dodge room. Luo was accidentally hit by a Thunderbird. With a numbness all over his body, he couldn't move. Immediately after that, thunder poured down from the sky. Like a thunderstorm, endless. Next second, he disappeared into the arena. The huge thunder had completely killed him. How are you having fun? Luo, who disappeared in the arena, quickly came to the auditorium. Hearing Lu Chen's slightly teasing voice, Luo gritted his teeth. He rolled his eyes slightly. UB*************, D, so disgusting. Listening to Luo's gnashing evaluation, Lu Chen pondered a little. This evaluation does not seem to be unacceptable. So dear Captain Luo, what is your next difficulty choice? Luo looked at Lu Chen's appearance as if water couldn't get in, and calmed down a little. Difficulty 6 words. Right now it's really difficult. But it's not completely unacceptable, it hasn't reached the level of being killed in seconds, but the opponent's ability is too pervert, which makes him completely unable to deal with it. If the next opponent is someone who is not so fast, then he should be able to deal with it. I choose difficulty. 1.3 inches. Luo Gang was about to choose difficulty 6, but stopped halfway through his words. The best option right now is not to be impatient, but to complete a difficulty first, get Lu Chen's training plan first. After thinking about it, Luo said again, I choose difficulty 5. Difficulty 5. Lu Chen looked at Luo a little surprised. He could clearly see Luo's unwilling expression in the arena. He thought that Luo would at least try difficulty 6, but he really couldn't use the last chance to choose difficulty 5. However, since he was chosen, Lu Chen has nothing to say. In that case, prepare to fight. Crack. After a finger snap, Luo appeared in the arena again. Appearing in front of him this time is Zoro. Chapter 142 Luo vs Zoro, the admirable Zoro. That's right, Zoro. Of course, what Lu Chen projected as Zoro in the original book, which is also the result of Lu Chen's emergency adjustment after seeing the projection of Zoro. Even if Luo is really good to Luffy and a very good partner, Luo is not in the same boat after all. Naturally, Lu Chen couldn't be stupid enough to reveal the true strength of the people on his ship to him. As Zoro in charge, seeing Zoro in front of him, Luo thought for a while. His head also understood that the 5th difficulty was the difficulty of these supernovas. In other words, the strength is enough to be rewarded by the world government for the existence of over 100 million. What, do you feel that your opponent is not easy to deal with? At this time, Lu Chen's voice sounded again, I can give you the privilege to change your opponent. Forget it. 9. Luo directly refused, although not for a long time. But he has also experienced Lu Chen's difficulty. Lu Chen said that if he changed his opponent, it might not be random, but would directly look for an existence he could not deal with in difficulty 5. This is very likely to happen. The whole person responded quickly. Directly rejected Lu Chen's O2 kindness. Alright then, fight, start. As Lu Chen said, the battle begins. Zoro has moved. In an instant, he put the words Hidao in his mouth. Staring closely at Luo in front of him, are you my enemy? Quickly, without hesitation, Zoro rushed straight to Luo. Ding dong, a sound of swords clashing sounded. Luo and Zoro's knives have collided. The place where the collision flashed was flashing. 2 swordsmanship, rhinoceros, 35. Zoro moved instantly. The whole person made a big roundabout in an instant. Luo was forced out immediately. Should it be said that Zoro is in charge? 35. Looking at Zoro in front of him, Luo also had a solemn expression on his face. Hands spread out slightly. Room 95. The surgical space unfolds. As it happens, one of Zoro's hands and one foot is already contained within the edge. Zoro instinctively wanted to escape from this eerie space. But, the surgical space was completely controlled by Luo. In a blink, Zoro's hand and foot were cut. This surgical space really pervert. 35. In the auditorium, Lu Chen pondered slightly. The ability of surgical space is indeed too pervert. Unless it is the master armament hockey, as long as you enter this space, you will definitely be left to Luosuo's control. Moreover, master armament hockey is not completely immune. If you want to completely avoid the surgical space, the best solution is to stay away from the surgical space. But, Luo's own fighting level is not low. Unless it can have the kind of long-range super firepower of Enel or Kizaru. Otherwise, people of the same level, even a little bit stronger than Luo, would be wishful thinking if they wanted to beat Luo. What can I say? I'm not afraid. Lu Chen pondered for a moment. He has the Kamui space. The surgery space is only to cut the body, not to let part of the body really leave the body, as long as Luo controls the cut part and enters the Kamui space and assembles it back again. However, other people have to think about how to deal with it. Forget it. Anyway, Luo can't be the opponent of the Straw Hat Pirates for the time being. Even if such a thing does happen in the future, we can talk about it later. After thinking about it for some time, Lu Chen found that he couldn't think of a good solution for everyone on the boat for the time being. Simply do not want to. At this time, the battle in the arena has also ended. After being cut off from one hand and one foot, the battle between Luo and Zoro is over. After holding on for a while, Zoro was finally stabbed in the heart by Luo, which ended in Luo's victory. Zoro's strength is still good. After leaving the arena, Luo still looked like he had lingering fears. Zoro's desire to fight and his unwillingness to lose are too strong. Even at the stage of inevitable defeat, he still almost got his throat cut by Zoro with the knife in his mouth. With lingering fears, he touched his unharmed throat, and Luo showed a look of fear. Looking at Luo's expression, Lu Chen smiled slightly, but it was Zoro. The battle is over. Do you plan to continue the challenge, or do you want me to help you arrange the difficulty 5 training? Listening to Lu Chen's words, Luo shook his head slightly. This calmed me down. After thinking for a while, I decided to give up. Difficulty 5 people almost lost. Difficulty 6 is really impossible to defeat. At least for now, the possibility of winning is very small. Forget it. Let's follow the training of difficulty 5. Good. 35. Clap. Lu Chen nodded. After a snap of their fingers, the two came to the gate that represented difficulty. Wait for me here for a while. With that said, Lu Chen walked into the door of difficulty 5. System, custom, trains Trafalgar Law, expands surgical space to a range of 10 kilometers. The system quickly began to analyze. Ding. The training plan has been drawn up. Close black lens bracket. Training object. Trafalgar Law. Close black lens bracket. Training goal. To expand the surgical space to a range of 10 kilometers. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket training plan. You need to fight for 5 hours a day for a duration of 600 days. Close black lens bracket. Another 600 days. Lu Chen was slightly stunned. However, this is understandable. After all, with a range of plus 053 kilometers, even if Luo returned after 2 years, it would be a problem whether there is 1 kilometer according to Lu Chen's inference. Even if he has a range of 1 kilometer, 600 days will make him 10 times better than he could. It is also a very good reinforcement. Slowly walked out of the door of difficulty 5, looked at Luo in front of him with a slight smile. The training plan I designated for you is to fight for 5 hours a day for 600 days. Fighting for 5 hours a day. Another 600 days. Luo looked at Lu Chen like a fool. Let's not talk about this time issue. Where do I find so many opponents? But, Lu Chen obviously didn't think about it. Even, he has disappeared in front of Luo. Damn it. Luo hammered the tree house next to him. Just destroy a wall. There was a hateful, but helpless look in his eyes. Okay, I'll go to Calm Belt to fight the Sea Kings, but I'll see if there will be any changes after 600 days. If you lie to me, even if I die, I will find a chance to slash you. Luo's anger. Lu Chen obviously couldn't feel it. Of course, even if he could feel it, he didn't care. As long as Luo followed his training seriously and earnestly, it would be fine if he didn't thank himself. At this time, Lu Chen's next target has emerged. Jewelry Bonnie. Chapter 143. The owner of the fruit of age, Bonnie. Big stomach. Jewelry Bonnie, born in South Blue, is the only woman in the supernova. Master has an extremely powerful fruit, the fruit of age. This fruit ability Lu Chen also wanted very much, so he decided Bonnie's training plan from the very beginning. That is to help her develop the fruit ability. Looking at Bonnie in front of him, Lu Chen has gradually adapted to his new job after passing Beige and Luo. A bit of a magician, he said. Lovely girl, do you want to gain power? Lu Chen's smug words greeted Bonnie's expression as if he was looking at a fool. Could it be that the head of our supernova is a fool? Depend on. Lu Chen cursed inwardly, but he was also angry at Bonnie's offense. Looking at Bonnie in front of him, Lu Chen spoke again. I can bring you strength. Only if you come to help me test my new training dojo. It's the same thing again. Lu Chen and Bonnie said it again. So it is. Bonnie nodded. She wasn't as suspicious as Beige and Lo. However, what she said gave Lu Chen a bigger blow. In this case, you can just say it directly. The whole thing is like a magic stick. Don't you feel stupid? Silly. Lu Chen was speechless. He would rather be scolded by Bonnie than accept this evaluation. Quickly change the subject. In that case, are you going to take the test? Certainly. Bonnie nodded without hesitation. I know a little bit about you. Also, no one doesn't want to be strong, right? Really. And she is one of the supernovas. Strength was definitely something she hoped for. If that's the case, then start testing now. 35. Bonnie readily agreed. Of course. It is good. Crack. 35. A snap of fingers. Lu Chen also brought Bonnie to the front of the 10 gates. It's still pretty much the same rhetoric. After a brief introduction, Lu Chen looked at Bonnie expectantly. The higher the difficulty, the higher the training level obtained, the faster the strength growth. 5. What are you going to choose? Listening to Lu Chen's words, Bonnie fell into contemplation. She didn't reject Lu Chen. It wasn't that she was so simple-minded that she would easily trust others. But because she knows the sea very well. Lu Chen's information can be said to be the most collected since she knew of this person. Although I still can't figure out Lu Chen's character, I also understand that Lu Chen is at least not a mean person. Plus his trainer status. Naturally want to try it. Let me choose a difficulty 3 and try it out. 35. Difficulty 3. Listening to Bonnie's words, Lu Chen looked surprised. This is the first time I've encountered it. Bonnie was the first to start with a lower difficulty level. What, can't you? Bonnie looked at Lu Chen with a little doubt. Didn't you say it, just choose it? Sure. Lu Chen nodded. I just didn't expect you as a supernova to choose such a low difficulty. Of course it will. Bonnie acted extremely indifferent. As someone who gallops on the sea, and as a pirate, isn't it normal to be careful? Looking at Bonnie in front of him, Lu Chen reminded again. That's true, but it will be a little easier, so you're wasting an opportunity, don't you mind? It's alright, let's get started. Whether it will be easy or not, I still have to see it with my own eyes to judge. Listening to Bonnie's words, Lu Chen could only give up persuasion. Although he also really wanted to see Bonnie deflated. However, if she doesn't want to, then forget it. Anyway, there are still 2 opportunities in the back, but don't worry. Crack. A snap of fingers. Bonnie is already in the arena. Opposite her is an unknown pirate. Is he the opponent? Bonnie looked at his opponent with some lack of interest. No matter the appearance or the temperament exuding from the body, it is not the performance of a master. No wonder she was disappointed. This is your own choice, and you must not regret it. Crack. Start. Lu Chen snapped his fingers, and the pirates in the arena were already moving. Are you my opponent? The pirate held a large sword and looked at Bonnie. It's me. Bonnie stepped forward quickly. The hand pressed directly on the pirate's body. Hello. 39. The fruit ability activates. The burly pirate instantly became a child. Goodbye. Another kick. The pirate had died at Bonnie's feet. The entire hands-on time does not exceed 1 minute. Can be described as neat. So that's the case, use the fruit ability to limit the opponent, and then use the superb physical skills to solve the opponent. In the audience, Bonnie listened to Lu Chen's words with vigilance on his face. You guy, wouldn't you be collecting everyone's information by training everyone's name? 5. There is indeed such a purpose in it. Lu Chen didn't deny it either. After all, if such a thing is done less, no one will care. The more you do, the more people will find out. After all, there are many smart people in the world. And what Lu Chen has to face is the high level or even the apex of the entire marine and pirates. His movements and intentions will be analyzed by a dedicated team. It is better to admit it directly and generously, rather than cover it up and let others find faults. Turning his head to look at Bonnie, Lu Chen spoke again, but you guys will really become stronger, won't you? That's true. Bonnie nodded nonchalantly. Anyway, my idea is just to eat the delicious food all over the world, and I don't intend to fight against you. If you collect data, just collect data. Look at Bonnie. Lu Chen didn't respond immediately. He didn't know if Bonnie was telling the truth or not. After all, he knew too little about Bonnie. The old thief did not publish enough to see her full picture and purpose. Shaking his head slightly, Lu Chen also stopped thinking about this issue. Now it is impossible for him to know the answer to this question. Looking at Bonnie, Lu Chen asked again, do you want to continue? Bonnie nodded. Of course, isn't the increased intensity of training related to the difficulty of passing the level? If it is as easy as difficulty 3, it means that I have at least the possibility of challenging difficulty 5. How could I give up the opportunity to become stronger? 35. So, the next challenge is difficulty 5. Bonnie nodded. Yes, difficulty 5. Okay, clap. Lu Chen snapped his fingers again. Bonnie is in the arena again. This time her opponent is the Murloc hero, Tiger. Chapter 144 The Absolute Powerhouse, the warrior who resists celestial dragons. Is it Tiger? Tiger, the Murloc hero, liberates celestial dragons from the existence of slaves. This is a great man. Also a poor man. He fought for the whole world, but died of human indifference. That would make sense. To be honest, Bonnie's strength is quite satisfactory, relying on fruit ability and physical skills to fight. And the physical strength of a Murloc is 10 times that of a human. Even if Bonnie is transformed into a child, his physical strength coupled with the Murloc's exclusive physical skills will not be so easy to deal with. In the arena, looking at Tiger on the opposite side, Bonnie looked puzzled. Tiger is, after all, a character from a long time ago. It's normal for Bonnie not to know him. Bonnie, the guy opposite you is very strong. 99. Lu Chen gave Bonnie a reminder. Crack, start. A snap of fingers. Tiger moved, looking at Bonnie in front of him. Tiger said expressionlessly, are you my opponent? Is this guy strong? Listening to Lu Chen's words, Bonnie frowned slightly. Murlocs are indeed difficult existences to deal with. However, it is very difficult for Murlocs to become the real top powerhouses. Now in the whole world, there is only one Jinbei from Shichibukai in 053. In a race, only one person in the entire world is qualified to be recognized by everyone in terms of strength. This made Bonnie, and even many masters, not very interested in the Murloc race. Just a Murloc. However, next second, Bonnie was devoured by his underestimation. Before she could react, Tiger's fist has landed on her. Fine. Bonnie unlocked the power of the fruit, directly turning Tiger into a child. This didn't kill Bonnie directly. Yet even so, Bonnie was still vomiting blood. Tiger is Tiger after all. Even if he becomes a child, he is still an opponent that cannot be underestimated. It turns out that it's not just touching it with both hands, but that as long as the fruit is opened, as long as the person who touches her will change the age according to her ideas. In the audience, Lu Chen looked at Bonnie on the court, thoughtfully. This fruit ability simply considers the fruit ability, and if you don't consider its role, it may be more pervert than Luo's op fruit. Changing people's age, something interesting. 35. Sure enough ACBD. 35. In the arena, Bonnie wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth, showing a touch of excitement on his face. Fighting, though not to her liking. But as a strong man, he still enjoys fighting. Especially the battle that seems extremely fair now. Although it's a bit unfair to say that it makes you smaller and at least 5 times less powerful. However, the world itself is unfair. So, sorry. Talking. Bonnie jumped high. Her legs went straight to Tiger's body and kicked. Murloc karate, gun wave. With the words of Tiger. A bullet-like water bomb shot out from Tiger's hand. That power is definitely no less than a cannonball. As Jinbei's trick, looking at Tiger's trick, Lu Chen thought about it for a while before thinking of the origin of this trick. Originally, Jinbei was also taught by Tiger. Or should it be said that Tiger's tricks are more reasonable for Jinbei to use? 35. Lu Chen was thinking. The battle on the field has now reached its most intense level. Because of being reduced to a child by Bonnie, Tiger's attack can't be perfect every time to the extent that he wants. And Bonnie was seriously injured because of the initial underestimation of the enemy. For a time, the two had a 50-50 fight, or Bonnie beat Tiger. However, the gap is not too big, and Tiger is not without the strength of a fight by virtue of Murloc karate and Murloc jujitsu. You come and go on both sides of the war. It even shattered the entire arena. Finally, still, Bonnie wins by a small margin. in exchange for injury. After abandoning one of his arms, he finally inserted his hand into Tiger's heart completely. Wonderful. Wait until Bonnie is back in the audience. Lu Chen exclaimed. At this point, Bonnie recovered from the injury. Looking at his lost and found arm with a little surprise, I didn't expect that what you said was true. This training dojo really won't hurt me. 5. Of course. Lu Chen smiled slightly. Crack. 35. A snap of fingers. The two came to the 10 difficult gates again. Wait for me. Enter the door of difficulty 5 again. Lu Chen began to interrogate the system. System, customization, training jewelry Bonnie, the ability to obtain the ability to use the fruit of age 1 meter away from the body. The fruit of age is too pervert. Whether you grow old or get younger, you will help yourself to victory in fleeting battles. If it can be used out of the body, even if the range is only 1 meter, it is scary enough. This is also the ability that Lu Chen wants. Ding. The training plan has been drawn up. Close black lens bracket. Training object. Jewelry Bonnie. Close black lens bracket. Training goal. To obtain the ability to use the age fruit ability 1 meter away from the body. Close black lens bracket. Training plan. Use the ability to lose strength every day for 600 days. Close black lens bracket. Another 600 days. Is this done with 600 days? Lu Chen was slightly speechless. However, no matter how difficult it is someone else's business, not one's own. Walk slowly out of the difficulty 5 room. Lu Chen looked at Bonnie in front of him. Your training room uses the ability to de-energize every day for 600 days. What? Listening to Lu Chen's words, Bonnie looked confused. As this training? Certainly. Lu Chen nodded. Because of the importance of the fruit of age, Lu Chen did not leave immediately. Instead, he patiently explained it to Bonnie. It's the power that allows you to gradually adapt to your fruit. When the training is completed, your fruit power will be able to be used in vitro. Use in vitro. 35. Bonnie's eyes lit up. That's it, thank you. But, when she looked in the direction of Chen Zan again. Where is Chen Zan's figure? Depend on. After an expletive, Bonnie glanced around. Also too lazy to visit the Sabayati archipelago. Just leave. As for Lu Chen, he's watching a guy play poker right now. To be more precise, it is to wait until a person tells his own fortune. Hawkins, is your tarot really accurate? Whether it is allowed or not, it depends on whether you believe it or not. Sure enough, he is a god. East and West are the same. It's just a trick to deceive people. There was a dull look in his eyes. Lu Chen looked at Hawkins in front of him and asked seductively, do you want to make your fruit power stronger? Chapter 145. Ghost Level Geek, Mosquito Girl debuts. Develop your own fruit power. Hawkins' tarot card hand gradually stopped. Naturally, he had also heard about Lu Chen. However, Hawkins did not directly agree, nor did he respond to Lu Chen's words. The whole person closed his eyes and quickly shuffled the tarot cards. Take a shot. An upright king appeared in front of him. Are you the king? Looking at Hawkins' actions, Lu Chen was not in a hurry. Although it is said that Hawkins' card should be called Scarecrow in a strict sense. However, the old thief obviously does not have the energy to compile a logical and self-consistent card for a supporting role. The name and function of the card are also almost copied from the tarot card, and it is not an exaggeration to call it a tarot card. As for the tarot card, he has heard it and watched others play it. In the end, what principle, how to play do not know. Looking at the card in his hand, Hawkins' eyes lit up. It seems that fate has favored me. Destiny. Lu Chen smiled in his heart. Can this also be attributed to fate? If Supernova was not patient enough for Lu Chen to use them to strengthen himself, he would never have come to Supernova and them. As for helping to develop fruit abilities, mainly because of the ability of Hawkins' fruit to transfer damage. Although Lu Chen doesn't think he will have any big opponents in this world now. But be careful in the end. Backhand and whole cards, no one will think too little. If you have to say fate, it can be explained. After thinking for a while, Lu Chen followed what Hawkins said. Then he opened his mouth and said, how is it? Are you going to follow fate's arrangement? I do not know either. To Lu Chen's surprise, Hawkins shook his head. Although I believe in fate, I feel a little uneasy at this moment. You can give me strength, but I don't know what it takes. Was thinking about this. Since it's not that he is worried about his lack of ability, then Lu Chen doesn't have to show anything. The same words are spoken again. Hawkins has come to the illusion of difficulty selection. Begin your choice. The higher the difficulty, the more adequate training I arrange, the greater the benefit to you. Looking at Hawkins, a strangeness flashed in Lu Chen's eyes. He was mainly curious about Hawkins in the illusion, whether his scarecrow like a stand-in could help him share the damage. Difficulty choice. 10 levels of difficulty. Hawkins looked at the 10 doors in front of him and fell into deep thought. Such a moment. He actually took out the tarot cards again. For this moment that decides his future destiny, he has to choose to use cards to solve it. Even Lu Chen couldn't help but complain at this time. Sometimes, I really don't understand people like you. Don't you feel a little ridiculous to hand over your destiny to a deck of cards? You don't understand. 35. Hawkins didn't look at Lu Chen, but responded politely. Perhaps in your opinion I am stupid, but fate has said everything. I can live to this day, doesn't it mean everything? In response, Lu Chen could only shrug his shoulders and no longer answer. At this moment, Hawkins' cards have also been drawn. Reversed Devil. Simply put, the interpretation of this card is that things are moving in a good direction. I see. Looking at the tarot cards, Hawkins pondered a little. This card gave him the future. But it didn't give him a choice. It is obviously inappropriate to rely on tarot cards to judge choices. Hey, 99. Sighed. Hawkins stood up slowly. It was not until this time that Hawkins thought about it completely on his own. If I asked what difficulty my strength was in, you wouldn't say it, would you? Of course. Chen shrugged and responded, and, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it, would you? It's true. Hawkins paused and chose to nod and tell the truth. Difficulty selection. Or the choice of fate. Either tarot cards to give him the answer. Cards can't give you the answer. It should be your own choice. Hawkins walked in front of 10 gates. Looking at the neat numbers on the door, he stroked his hands one by one. It seems to be communicating with the gate and feeling it. Hawkins is thinking, in trouble. Chen on the side was a little bit lacking in interest. Clap. A finger snapped, and a chair appeared behind him. Nor look back. Lean directly back. 0. Ask for flowers. Half of the whole person sank into the sofa chair. It's a tough choice. Hawkins ended up on difficulty 6. After his analysis, he has preliminarily obtained his own judgment. If it is divided according to the strength of this world, my strength should be able to reach the middle level. In this case, the difficulty converted into a door is difficulty 5 and difficulty 6. It can be seen that Hawkins is very confident in his own judgment. He does have his own reasons for self-confidence. This judgment has come close to reality. In that case, is there a choice? Several hours have passed since Chen approached Hawkins. Compared to the refreshing Bonnie before, Hawkins is cautious to a certain extent. 0. Hawkins nodded, stopped for a while on difficulty 5 and 6. In the end, difficulty 6 was chosen. I choose difficulty 6. 99. In response, Chen smiled slightly. If this difficulty is really divided according to the world, Hawkins can really rank above difficulty 6. Pity. Difficulty is compressed. Chen put in a group of people who were simply impossible to beat in difficulty 10. So, Hawkins' judgment failed. Hours of thinking were in vain. If that's the case, let's get started. Crack. A snap of fingers. Hawkins has come to the arena. I looked around. Can't see anything else at all. And what appeared in front of him was someone he had never seen before. The adjective, people, is obviously somewhat inaccurate. Except for the appearance of a human torso and a human face. Her image is more like a mosquito. Hawkins' slightly puzzled face obviously did not dare to give too easy judgment. Let me introduce this guy to you. 35. Chen's voice sounded above the arena at this time. He's a monster from the otherworld. A ghost-level weirdo called Mosquito Girl. This is a terrifying existence that can easily destroy a country. You have to be careful not to be eaten by her. 35. Chapter 146 Torn apart by the Mosquito Girl, Hawkins' anger. Ghost monster. Listening to Chen's words, Hawkins frowned. He had never heard of such an existence at all. However, look at the Mosquito Girl. It should be similar to Zone, mosquito fruit, right? As a supernova, Hawkins quickly made his own judgment. Got it. 35. If it is related to mosquitoes, the ability is probably blood-sucking, and the speed of insect-type power is increased. Smart. 35. Chen praised. Now that you've gotten to know her initially, let's get started. Clap. This time, Chen didn't give Hawkins time to think again, but snapped his fingers. As long as this guy gives him enough time and doesn't put his life in danger. Even in the face of Admiral Kizaru is not in a hurry. During the few hours that Chen waited, he had gradually lost his patience. 053. Are you my opponent? The Mosquito Girl looked at Hawkins coldly, with no emotion on her face. Is this a ghost? A look of surprise appeared on Hawkins' face. This reaction is almost indistinguishable from a real person. Even though Hawkins still has time to think now, he will have no chance at all in the next second. The Mosquito Girl instantly disappeared in front of his eyes. What? How can it be so fast? You can't even notice it with the naked eye. Even the voice is pitiful. What monster is this? This moment, even in a different world, Hawkins also learned the meaning of weirdo by confronting the enemy. Don't be careless. Hawkins directly fruited. The whole person has become a scarecrow. Even so, if it is against mosquitoes, my fruit power is dominant. The scarecrow has no blood at all. 99. Hawkins looked smug. There was already a smile on his face. He can clearly perceive that his strength is inferior to Mosquito Girl. And it is not a star and a half, it is completely weaker than the other party. But, the good thing is that his fruit ability is just a little restrained. It made him a little happy. It seems that difficulty 6 is not where my strength should come, but my luck is really good. If it is this opponent, I have the possibility to win. Looking at Hawkins' smug expression, Chen, who was sitting in the audience, shook his head slightly. Really, you must know that Mosquito Girl's strength can break through mountains and rubble, and even Geno's armor can be easily torn apart. 35. Your scarecrow can indeed avoid being sucked by mosquitoes. However, can your body withstand the attack of the Mosquito Girl? Originally, after Chen knew that Hawkins was dealing with Mosquito Girl, he had no interest. Mosquito Girl's physical strength is afraid that even Garp-level armament Haki can be destroyed. Of course, this inference is entirely based on the fact that Garp doesn't respond to mosquitoes, which is impossible in actual combat. However, seeing Hawkins' reaction at this time, Chen was rather interested. He wanted to know what Hawkins' expression looked like after being killed by Mosquito Girl. What? In the arena, the disappearing Mosquito Girl suddenly appeared. Her mouthparts had penetrated Hawkins' body hard. There is no physical sensation. No blood was sucked up. Even the Phantom who only knew about the battle showed a brief moment of astonishment at this time. Ha ha ha, it's exactly as I guessed. Hawkins laughed wildly. The left hand directly grabbed Mosquito Girl's mouthparts. The right hand is raised high. Endless straws gathered in his hands. That fist that seems to be just made of straw, no one will doubt that it has the power to destroy everything at this time. Go to hell. 39. This victory is mine. While roaring, Hawkins smashed down. Bang. 35. Crack. 35. Mosquito Girl punched Hawkins in the front. However, she didn't have anything. Hawkins punched with all his might. In front of Mosquito Girl, it seems to have no effect at this time. Just this level of fist, is it itching for me? The Mosquito Girl spoke indifferently. The hands have moved again. Waving room. The straw was raised all over the arena. Hawkins wants to resist though. But I found that I couldn't do anything with Mosquito Girl at all. Even the hand holding the Snake Girl's mouthparts could not be taken back at this time, and was firmly controlled by the Mosquito Girl, and she could only watch the Mosquito Girl tearing at her body one by one. Finally, desperately lost consciousness. Gap. An insurmountable gap. Obviously has restraint in terms of ability. But there is no way to make him have any resistance. Mosquito Girl's physique and strength surpassed him by too much. How about it? In the audience, look at the lost and unwilling Hawkins. Chen couldn't help but smile. I saw Hawkins' expression change, and it was the appearance of negative emotions erupting. It can be said to be one of the most interesting things he encountered in this world. Hawkins looked at Chen with a look of annoyance on his face. Have you always had such a bad taste? 35. Picked an opponent I had an edge over, and then gave her strength I simply couldn't handle. No no no. Chen denied it. The opponent chosen for this difficulty is completely random, and she is also her own strength. I can assure you of this with anything I can come up with. 35. Hawkins snorted coldly, although not speaking. But he also believed what Chen said. After all, Chen didn't need to lie to him at all. According to Chen, this training dojo will be open to many people in the future. If Chen really did something wrong, in the future, when there are more people in the training dojo, it is impossible to hide the random modification of the data. All right, Chen comforted Hawkins a little. But obviously, he does not need 1.3. So, is it a different difficulty challenge? Or should I give up? How could it be possible to give up? The card has given me the answer, and now what is waiting for me is to work hard to find strength. Hawkins shook his head. This time, I choose difficulty 5. Very good. Chen nodded. Hawkins was so refreshing this time, which surprised him. But he can also guess 1 or 2. It's nothing more than being P********** D off by the Mosquito Girl just now. Now Hawkins is still staying with him, just want to get power and then leave. Crack. A snap of fingers. Hawkins came to the arena again. This time, his opponent is no longer Mosquito Girl, but a gorilla. Looking at the man opposite, Hawkins showed an unexpected expression. A gorilla. Chapter 147 Unexpected Visitor, Smoker. Do not. Saying it's a gorilla isn't entirely accurate. Should say gorilla in armor. That's right, it's also a weirdo from the world of Mosquito Girl. Chen explained it at the right time. Even he didn't expect that Hawkins was so connected to the world of One Punch Man. 2 consecutive choices are from the weirdo in the world of One Punch Man. It's called the armored gorilla, and it's a half-intelligent, half-living creature. How to deal with it is up to you. For the people of One Piece, these are the people of the otherworld after all. So Chen also gave some information appropriately. However, it doesn't stop there. This is a weirdo from the House of Evolution, not really a villain. And because the plot was pulled in, the ghost level it became a comedian after it appeared. There is no place to show its strength. Didn't expect to see it here. This surprised Chen a little. Then, let's begin. Clap. The sound of a finger snap spread throughout the arena. O2 Armor Gorilla also moved. Looking at Hawkins, he asked indifferently, "Are you my enemy?" Same language. Is it really just a phantom? Hawkins was a little bored listening to the armored gorilla. After passing the Mosquito Girl just now, Hawkins now understood. In that world he didn't know, weirdos were very pervert existences. This armored gorilla is obviously not to be underestimated. Taking a deep breath. Come on. 99. Talking. His body turned into a scarecrow again. The whole person's breath became cautious. It is good. The armored gorilla roared. Dust and gravel were shaken, and the entire arena seemed to collapse. The whole body is already rushing in the direction of Hawkins. Very fast. 9. Hawkins looked at the armored gorilla in front of him and quickly gave an evaluation. However, it's not to the extent that I can't accept it. Face this armor. It is obvious that there is no way to break the defense with physical strength alone, or the damage to it will definitely be reduced a lot. So, weapons are a very important thing. Incarnate into scarecrow hands. At this time, I actually took out an iron cone. Oh, is this the power he has now, or is it a temporary breakthrough after the last failure? In the audience, Chen watched with great interest. This tit-for-tat battle can be said to be very beautiful. At this time, the two sides in the arena are already facing each other. The two are about the same speed, collided directly. After several games, there were a lot of straws on the field. But, the armored gorilla was also stabbed with a few holes by the iron cone. Although it said that it did not hurt its physical part, the part of the machine has already suffered extensive damage. Wires, and spiritual arcs of Mars all over the body. Hawkins' iron cone was unscathed. Can see, this is his hidden trump card and treasure. Now, it's time for me to fight back. Hawkins saw the opportunity. The first attack was launched. In terms of strength, the armored gorilla is slightly stronger than Hawkins. But the point is, the machine part of the armored gorilla is damaged, which means its strength will decrease. When Hawkins was injured, he could forcibly burst out stronger power with his will. Duel several times. Armor gorilla's machine is partially destroyed. The whole body collapsed to the ground. With only the body part, it is impossible to drag the transformed body weight. Hawkins is also not optimistic. At this time, the straw on his body almost disappeared, and he was barely able to move. But, that's enough. Pick up the iron cone in your hand and walk to the armored gorilla. Directly pierced its brain. Wonderful. Hawkins returned to the audience. Chen complimented directly. For fear that he would write ink again, he would not wait for Hawkins to respond. Crack. With a snap of his fingers, the two of them were directly pulled to the door of difficulty selection. Walking slowly into the door of difficulty 5, Chen did not forget to remind Hawkins. Just wait here, if I find you walking around randomly, don't want the training plan. 99. Done. Chen disappeared into the door of difficulty 5. Look at the direction where Chen disappeared. Hawkins was a little speechless. I can't pose a threat to you, what are you running for? 5. Difficulty in the 5 gates. Chen wakes up the system directly. System, customization, training Basil Hawkins, developing fruit, doubles can be used without planting on others. In Chen's understanding, Hawkins' ability to substitute damage is similar to planting GU on other people. Chen is not so wicked. All he wanted was Hawkins' ability to replace his injuries with a stand-in. Ding. The training plan has been drawn up. Close black lens bracket. Training object. Basil Hawkins. Close black lens bracket. Training goal. The fruit ability can be used without planting it on others. Close black lens bracket. Training plan. Condense 100 little scarecrows in the air every day for 600 days. Close black lens bracket. Hearing this training plan, Chen almost laughed out loud. As this to hone Hawkins' ability to do figures. Walk slowly out of the difficulty 5 room. Looking at Hawkins in front of him. Chen said, your training plan is to condense 100 little scarecrows in the air every day for 600 days. 99. Hawkins looked at Chen suspiciously. What's the point of that? Of course. 95. Chen nodded affirmatively. As long as you can do it, your little scarecrow won't need to be planted on other people's bodies in the future. Hawkins' eyes vibrated. His stand-in scarecrow is very domineering. But each one needs to find a person to plant. If you can cancel this step. That is to say, every time you gather a scarecrow in the future, you will get a life. $7. Hawkins was about to say something. Looking up, I found myself back in the Sabayati archipelago. Chen didn't know where to go. Did you come to me on purpose? Another place in Sabayati archipelago. Chen looked at the person in front of him with a hint of curiosity in his eyes. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you directly? You should know that I have this strength. You wouldn't do that. Appearing in front of Chen, or in other words, the person who came to Chen was not someone else. It's Smoker. Smoker looked at Chen. With a touch of tenacity in his eyes. I have been paying attention to you since the day I met you. People like you are not meant to be pirates at all. Chapter 148 Debate between Chen and Smoker. Or, you didn't even think about being a pirate at all. Looking into Smoker's eyes, Chen thought for a moment. If you say that, no one on the Straw Hat Pirates is a pirate. Although they call themselves pirates, they are more like adventurers of the sea. Listen to Chen. Smoker was lost in thought. As the person in Marine who knows the most about the Straw Hat Pirates, he naturally believes what Chen said. He was actually surprised too. Why did Luffy's group become pirates? If I told you that I could cancel your arrest warrant for you and put you in the Marine, what would your answer be? Of course not. 35. Chen didn't doubt the meaning of Smoker's words. Although Smoker's rank is not high, he is Zephyr's disciple, even though Zephyr is no longer among the Marines. Just Zephyr's connections are enough to keep Smoker alive for a lifetime. It is also very simple for the world government to whitewash its own words. Suffice it to say that you are Marine's undercover spy inside the pirates. Anyway, Chen didn't do anything out of the ordinary. You don't even need to wipe your asterisk after adding Marine to Chen. The Marine has its own justice, I don't deny, but it's also an authority. I don't like that serious and mechanical life. That's why I'm on the Luffy boat. It's not that I don't have a place to go, but because I'm comfortable and happy. As expected, I didn't get it wrong before, you are not someone who cannot be negotiated. Hearing Lu Chen's words, Smoker did not express regret for the first time, or persuaded Lu Chen again. Take a cigar to your mouth. The flames rose and the cigar lit. Smoker leaned against one of the walls and looked up at the sky. Who do you think is right now, pirate or marine? Are you going to discuss life with me? Are you saying that you are also confused? Look at Smoker. Lu Chen had a lot of thoughts in his heart. He was still very interested in this stubborn man. Even after talking about the new world, Smoker's strength has fallen far behind, but it hasn't changed the impression of Smoker in his heart. If you look at it on a small scale, everyone is right and everyone is wrong. After a little thought, Lu Chen expressed his thoughts. As soon as this word comes out, Smoker frowned. Before Smoker could speak, Lu Chen spoke first. You don't have to rush to deny it, you know what the world government looks like now. 39. You know why Zephyr Admiral left Marine. Zephyr out. Smoker was silent, although Zephyr's departure has a stubborn aspect to him. But more importantly, the actions of the world government stimulated him. Lu Chen was right in this regard. Seeing Smoker go silent again, Lu Chen continued, but in the big picture, Marine was right. Even if the pirates have good people, they are only a small part. Most of the pirates go out to sea for the purpose of gold and silver treasures, burning, killing, looting, and even slaughtering the island and destroying the country. It is not too unimaginable. 9. And Marine is different. Even if Marine has bad people, their status is unlikely to allow them to do anything too outrageous. After a short pause, Smoker looked at Lu Chen. So, you don't really have any ill will towards Marine. Of course, or as long as they are normal people, they have no ill will towards those who maintain order. 99. A chaotic world, I'm afraid no one will like it. Lu Chen went on to add. Get rid of those worms, though. Smoker is only a disciple of Zephyr. Minds are more open than those of Marines who came from a military school-style education. At this time, I heard Lu Chen's words. There was no objection either. Looking at Smoker who was in deep thought, Lu Chen spoke again. So, I spent so much time talking, and I even got a little thirsty, can you stop chasing us for my sake in the future? Of course not. Smoker denies it. The moment you admitted that you were pirates, you touched Marines taboo. 95. Allowing your existence will only allow more people to go out to sea as pirates. The vast majority of them will only see your brilliance and pay for it with their lives. Do you understand that? Smoker looked slightly helpless. If not serious consequences, it's not entirely unthinkable that his character would let Straw Hat Crew go. Of course, a glamorous pirate image is really not suitable. 95. Lu Chen nodded. He is God's point of view. Of course it's more clear. Smoker's point of view has long been explained in various forums, a bar or other places where Hamey gathers. It's a view that most people agree with. Backquote. So, are you here to arrest me this time? Do you think I can catch you myself? Smoker asked rhetorically. Hear this answer from Smoker. Lu Chen himself was a little puzzled. Since it's not to catch yourself, was Smoker just here to talk to himself about life and debate about pirates and Marines? Smoker may have moments of confusion, but with a firm mind, he will never forget his dream and mission. As long as there is a purpose, a smoker will be a smoker. This answer is clearly wrong. Looking at Smoker, Lu Chen asked curiously, so, what is the purpose of your coming to me this time? Ha ha ha. 9. See Lu Chen's curious look. Smoker laughed. It seems that you are not omnipotent, and you also have something you don't know. Shrugging slightly, Lu Chen showed lack of interest. If you don't say anything, then I can go first. Li Hao, I'll just tell you the purpose of my coming here. 35. Seeing Lu Chen really turned around and was about to leave. Smoker also showed a little helplessness. I came to you this time to let you train me. What? This answer. It surprised Lu Chen even more. Look at Smoker's serious face. Lu Chen is incredible. Smoker helps pirates, and the current Smoker, although Smoker itself is not so rigid. But let him turn to a pirate to help him improve his strength. This is something that even Lu Chen never thought of. Will you say it again? Seeing Lu Chen so surprised, Smoker was also a little embarrassed. He spoke again. Aren't you a trainer? I can see the changes in the strength of the people on the Straw Hat boat. I also want to become stronger, so I ran over to help you. Chapter 149 Saiyan Prince, Vegeta. Please customize, please complete. After confirming again, Lu Chen looked at Smoker in surprise, and then his face turned into mockery and ridicule. I'm sure, did you hear me wrong? The dignified Marine captain, the poster child for a hard-boiled man, is Smoker asking for a pirate to become stronger. Listen to Lu Chen's teasing. Smoker frowned slightly. The whole person showed an annoyed expression. If it doesn't work, then forget it. Talking. Smoker turned to leave. Wait a moment. I didn't say I disagree. Seeing Smoker turn to leave, Lu Chen quickly stopped him. It's no wonder that Smoker has the same expression and look just now. Asking for help from a pirate is extremely difficult even for Smoker. And there is also the risk of being punished by Marine. But, whether it was Smoker who felt he wasn't strong enough, or something else. Things that help Smoker improve his strength. Lu Chen is very willing to do it. However, I want to ask, what is the direction you want to improve, and I will also make a special plan for you. Nowadays, the strength of the Straw Hat Pirates has improved qualitatively after their own training. The strength is guaranteed, but they are still pirates after all. It takes someone to put pressure on them to avoid getting caught up in their own strength and ignoring the dangers around them. In the world of pirates, even if 053 is the current Lu Chen, he would not dare to say that he has absolutely no opponents. Not to mention the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates. Smoker is undoubtedly the best and most suitable candidate. Only, the strength of Smoker in the original book is a bit outdated. In the face of the current Straw Hat Pirates, they are even more looked down upon. Give him a boost. It can also be considered for the safety of the Straw Hat Pirates. Smoker looked at Lu Chen. Can it be customized? Certainly. Lu Chen nodded. This is my partner on the Straw Hat Pirates, and a privilege that few people can enjoy. You have to be very grateful. 66. 99. Smoker was speechless. Thoughts have begun to diverge. First timing. All he thought of was his teacher. The man known as the Black Arm. He also knows where his own strength is poor. In New World, only relying on the fruit ability is not enough to see, even if his fruit is the fruit of Logia. If that's the case, then help me train hockey. Both armament hockey and observation hockey would be better. 55. Listening to Smoker's request, Lu Chen was also a little speechless. You are really greedy. 359. Can't you? Smoker looked at Lu Chen. Sure. Lu Chen's eyes turned red. Smoker has seen the power of Lu Chen's bloody eyes. Just about to dodge. However, it has been seen. How can it be avoided? Clap. A snap of fingers. Lu Chen had brought Smoker to the front of the 10 difficulty gates. After a brief explanation, Lu Chen looked at Smoker and said, the difficulty level represents how strong my training will be for you, and you have 3 chances to try. Smoker looked around. They come. The security. If Lu Chen thought about it, he should be dead by now. Since there is no danger to his life, he will go with him. Is this the challenge one has to go through to gain power? 9. Actually, at first my idea was to give you the privilege and arrange training directly for you. Lu Chen shrugged. But you are too greedy to want 2 powers at once, so I can only give you a test. But you can rest assured. I will train you if you pass the test or not, but how far you can reach depends on how difficult you can challenge. 99. I see. Smoker nodded, but he was not ashamed of his request. He has already put down his body to beg the pirates. Some mental preparations have been made. Slowly walked towards the 10 gates with the difficulty recorded. Smoker asked again, how strong can I get? If it's your potential, it's actually not that high. Lu Chen didn't care about Smoker's ideas ACBD. Say it directly. Although you are the owner of Yan Yan fruit. But the harm that smoke does to your body will still stay in your body. In addition to the dark wounds you left in battle, and your age is not too young, now is your peak period. Without my help, the elite vice admiral level should be the end of your strength. Understandable. 99. Smoker nodded, although a little uncomfortable. But what Lu Chen said was also quite pertinent. Since you said so, then you must have a way to make me stronger, and even break through my potential, right? Certainly. Lu Chen said confidently. Turning the impossible into a possibility is the charm of the system. But it's too early to say that. How much you can improve depends on how difficult you can challenge yourself. Smoker nodded. This time, he did not respond to Lu Chen's words, but looked at the door in front of him and fell into contemplation. Lu Chen didn't bother him either. The current strength of Smoker is probably at the top level of difficulty 5 and slightly weaker at difficulty 6. If you work hard, then randomly select an opponent that he can restrain. It is not impossible to succeed in the difficulty of the 6th challenge. After all, Logia fruit is still very pervert. Decided. Just at this time, Smoker has made a decision. Turning his head to look at Lu Chen. I want to challenge difficulty 10. 39. What? Smoker's answer confuses Lu Chen. The whole person is a little confused. Smoker made such a hasty decision. Is there any problem? Smoker's idea is simple. Since Lu Chen said that the higher the difficulty and challenge, the richer the training rewards that can be obtained. And he has 3 more options. So why not try the highest difficulty first? It won't die anyway. If not, just lower the difficulty level. He has nothing to lose. Lu Chen looked at Smoker. No problem, but are you sure you want to choose difficulty 10? Certainly. If you don't try it, how will you know if you can do it? Listening to Smoker's words, Lu Chen was speechless. It's not a question of whether it can be done. But 100% not. Not to mention Smoker. Even if Lu Chen challenges difficulty 10, he will only be abused. Even if the other party is just a phantom. Okay. Lu Chen didn't explain. Clap. A snap of fingers. Smoker has appeared in the arena. Opposite him, stood a man. A proud man. Wearing a combat uniform, his hair is completely on end. Saiyan Prince, Vegeta. Chapter 150. Vegeta is stunned. This is a person. Damn it. 99. Cough cough. 35. Cough cough. In the audience. Look at the people who appear in the arena. Even without drinking water, Lu Chen choked on his own saliva. Smoker hit the jackpot. And it's an absolute jackpot. Compared to other, brave people like Luffy. Among the difficulty 10 characters summoned, there are only Saitama-sensei, Himukusuo, Birusi and so on. Although these are also the absolute powerhouses in animation, film and television, and the ceiling of combat power, some of them are stronger than Vegeta, and some are weaker than Vegeta. But in terms of shock level, I'm afraid there is no one more shocking than Vegeta. Saiyans do not say that they are gods in everyone's mind, at least they include at least 70% of the people in the world who like anime. Absolutely. A touch of sympathy appeared in Lu Chen's eyes. Especially looking at Smoker's confused eyes makes me want to laugh. I hope this matchup won't leave any psychological shadow on you. Even if there are existences like Sharu and Majin Buu that are almost immortal, the people in Dragon Ball have a way to destroy them. Not to mention the abilities of a tiny Logia fruit. Crack. 35. After a snap of fingers, Vegeta in the arena moved. Eyes sharp and tenacious, looking at Smoker in front of him. Are you my opponent? 39. There was great disdain in his tone. The tone made Smoker a little uncomfortable. However, before he could speak, I saw Vegeta's body slowly float into the air. His right hand stretched out in Smoker's direction. The whole body began to aerate. A gust of air like a gust of wind surrounds it. Sudden, the hair was blonde, and the eyes were green. The chi surrounding the body also turned golden, but it was a little softer than the white chi that was like a hurricane before. Just the suppressing force of this chi directly overwhelmed Smoker to the ground. Even the body incarnates into smoke and can't get rid of it. What is this? What is this? Smoker growled in horror, but to no avail. And Vegeta is not over yet. Eyes are sharper. The hair became firmer, the chi surrounding the body became like a blade, and even some lightning was surrounding it. Cruel, so cruel. Looking at the scene in the arena, Lu Chen couldn't help trembling even if he didn't approach him in person. You don't even need to start a Super Saiyan to win, you're good, and even driving to Super Saiyan 2, it's too bullying. Lu Chen complained, but the smile on his lips never disappeared. And, even so, Vegeta didn't stop either. The whole body changed again. Hair and pupils turned red. It is the Super Saiyan God. At this point, Vegeta is not over yet. The red air just stopped for a while, and then gradually transformed again. Blue is all over the body, and there are some white and golden lights in it. It is the Super Saiyan God, Blue mode. To now, Vegeta shattered the entire arena with just his chi. There is no complete place in the whole space. I saw a slight change in Vegeta's aura. The blue on his body deepened again, achieving the Super Saiyan God that only Vegeta has so far, dark blue mode. Big bang attack, pale white. That's right, it's bleak. Everything in the arena has disappeared. The moment Vegeta's trick was just read out. Not waiting for him to make a move. Smoker is dead. Back in the auditorium, he stood there dumbfounded like a walking corpse, unable to move for a while. Just the momentum is enough to overwhelm everything. This is the power beyond the whole world. It was hard for him to imagine where such a person was born. Vegeta's trick disappeared before it could be used. Lu Chen shook his head regretfully. Unfortunately, I didn't see his trick up close. You still say it's a pity. Who the hell is that guy? Smoker slowed down. Seeing Lu Chen hurriedly asked. He's also a person. Are you sure you didn't pull over a god from somewhere? It's not wrong for you to say that. Lu Chen pondered for a while before giving him such an answer. Vegeta has already used the realm of the Super Saiyan God. Although it is said that it only reaches the power of God in terms of power, it is not a real god, but it is not bad. 0. Ask for flowers. And, according to the comics Lu Chen read when he was still at Blue Star, it is not difficult to find. There's a good chance Vegeta will take Beerus's class. The word of the god of broken flowers is naturally a god. It's okay to say he's a god. Since it is a god, can it be counted in the difficulty? After hearing Lu Chen's accurate reply, Smoker was even more furious. Is your test prepared for people? What do you do to bring God in? God can also be handled by man. 55. Listen to Smoker. Lu Chen thought a lot. Killing gods has even become a standard feature in many literary and artistic works. It's not too high a thing, is it? Shaking his head slightly. 0. Lu Chen self-denies. He couldn't measure Smoker and them by his own knowledge. This is the difficulty of the 10th difficulty. It's an intensity that humans can't achieve. I asked you when you just chose, didn't I? 35. Smoker gritted his teeth. But, you didn't tell me how difficult it was. He has not completely recovered from that fear. The kind of oppression that even turned his body into smoke and squeezed it into the soil. He didn't want to experience it again in his life. Looking at Smoker, Lu Chen reassured him again. Having fought with God is something to brag about. 6699. Speechless, helpless, although Lu Chen said that there is some truth to it. But the problem is, was he really fighting God just now? Never mind, of your own choice, and also the rules of the game. Wrong is wrong, abused is abused. Looking at Lu Chen in front of him, he said again, this time I choose difficulty 6. Having experienced the terrifying 10th difficulty, Smoker no longer intends to challenge the second half. However, he wanted to get higher training, so he simply chose the middle difficulty level 6. Okay, 99. Lu Chen smiled slightly. Difficulty 6 is indeed the most suitable difficulty for Smoker to challenge. Crack. A snap of fingers. Smoker is back in the arena again. At this time, the arena has been restored to its original state. Opposite him, Rob Lucci Factory. Chapter 151 Smoker vs Luffy. Rob Lucci, former CP9's highest combat power, CP9's actual captain and manager. Like Enel, this guy is also an old thief who forced Luffy to add the protagonist aura, and use the early boss of Grind to Death. Now, with the speed of recovery of people in the world of One Piece, he should be going to the CPO for the assessment, or has been absorbed into the CPO. Looking at Smoker and Lucci in the arena, Chen was also excited. Is such a duel interesting? Vegeta's shock is really cool to watch. But after it's cool, it's empty. It has to be an evenly matched battle to be interesting. Who is this? Smoker frowned slightly at Lucci in front of him. Not only the CPO, but the entire CP organization is an extremely mysterious intelligence organization. It is a super organization affiliated with celestial dragons, and even the most 053 executives of Marine are rarely known. It's normal for Smoker to not know. Start. Clap. After a snap of his fingers, Lucci in the arena had already moved. Are you my opponent? Still familiar words. Lucci was very indifferent. If it's someone from other worlds, Chen doesn't mind introducing Lucci to Smoker. However, he is the existence of One Piece itself. The reason I don't know is because of the mystery of the CP organization. This introduction is obviously unnecessary. Smoker looked at Lucci in front of him. Although he didn't know who Lucci was, he was able to perceive the danger on Lucci keenly. This so-called training dojo is not simple. Suddenly, Lucci disappeared in front of him. Seeing this familiar trick, Smoker's pupils shrank. Marine 6 styles. That's right. The way Luigi disappeared is exactly the shave in Marine 6 styles. Smoker, who is Marine, recognized it immediately. The Marines are Marines traitor. Luigi wasn't the first person in the original book to use a shave. But it is definitely the best person for shaving in the early stage. Just because of Lucci's shave, Smoker was so stunned. His fist had penetrated Smoker's body. Tisk. Logia fruit. Lucci's fist didn't hurt Smoker. There was also a little irritability on his face. Because of being an apprentice in that damn place, there is no time to practice and improve armament hockey. It's a bit difficult to face Logia fruit. 39. While talking. Feeling that the smoke gradually enveloped me, the oxygen supply was not available. Lucci quickly moved away from Smoker's side. It looks like it's Marines people, just members of an espionage organization that I don't even know about. Lucci just said a few words, and Smoker analyzed his identity from it. At the same time, there are also some complaints. What the hell is the world government doing now? Lucci and Smoker looked at each other from the air. Both sides were solemn. They found that they could not eliminate their opponents too easily. Smoker sensed Luigi's difficulty, and Lucci is thinking about how to break the immune physical attack of Smoker's Logia fruit when there is no armament hockey. A time. The two of them stood still so stiffly. Is that the case? In the audience, Chen, who watched Smoker and Lucci fight, did not complain at all because the two were just standing there. The longer they confronted each other, the more intense the fight became. The current stillness is just a battle after thinking. Once started, it must be like a tsunami. Tempest kick. 99. Sudden. The situation on the field changed in an instant. One after another, sharp air blades were already heading towards Smoker. Lucci took the lead in attacking. It's useless. When Smoker saw Lucci's attack, an indifferent expression appeared on his face. Since you're from Marine, how could it be impossible to know how powerful Logia is? 35. Without armament hockey, even if your strength reaches the level of Admiral or even 4 Emperors, you cannot do any harm to me. 5. Smoker just stood there, waiting directly for Tempest Kick to arrive. Dozens or hundreds of Tempest Kicks penetrated Smoker's body directly. Can't deal a single point of damage to Smoker. Is that right? Against Luigi, Smoker gradually recovered from Vegeta's body. The feeling of being completely crushed is really unpleasant. Lucci on the other side looked at Smoker Zero. His own tricks didn't work and didn't respond. Feet on the air. He even stepped on it and flew into the air. Moonwalk. Although I can't, it's not that I can't fly. Smoker gave a brief evaluation, and the entire body directly turned into smoke. The same flew into the air. The 10 hands in his hand ran straight to Lucci's face and hit him. Clang. 35. A sound like the roar of metal sounded. Smoker's 10 hands were blocked by Luigi's arms. Armament hockey. Hearing this voice, Smoker's pupils shrank. Instinctively tense, armament hockey is an attack method that can directly threaten him. But, he also responded quickly. Wrong. If he knew armament hockey, he wouldn't have been facing me for so long just now. Looks like it's Iron Body from Marine 6 styles. Tempest Kick, Iron Body, Moonwalk. It's terrific. If it wasn't for an espionage organization, it would have to be the star of the Marine Mesozoic. Marine 6 styles aren't exactly high-end tricks. Even a pirate can find a way to learn if he wants to learn. However, the point of the problem is that it is very difficult to practice. Basically, it is a very remarkable existence for everyone to practice one. Learn 3 in a row. In Smoker's eyes, he's already a genius among geniuses. 1.3. Simple evaluation. Smoker also didn't dare to be careless. At this time, the 10 hands in his hand are faintly showing signs of moving towards his side. There was a surprised look on Smoker's face. Great strength. While speaking, Smoker increased his strength, and the two stalemate again. Lucci did not speak. The whole body changes gradually. Leopard's lines, face and tail appeared on his body. After Lucci revealed the zone leopard fruit, the power instantly increased more than tenfold. Suddenly, the Smoker was blasted away. In midair, Smoker steadied himself. Looking at Lu Chi in front of him, there was a hint of clarity in his eyes. No wonder there is such a monster-like strength, it turns out to be the fruit of Zone. Chapter 152. Even Logia is still suppressed. Smoker turns into smoke in situ. The whole body directly wrapped Lu Chi in it. He planned to use the trick of dealing with the Toll Luffy in the original book to directly trap Lu Chi. However, Smoker found out the next second. Even the ubiquitous smoke. I can't even catch Lu Chi. This is impossible. Stunned. Smoker's body gathered again, looking at Lu Chi in surprise. Wrong. Marine 6 styles, paper arts. 35. Paper arts, an evasion technique. Completely relax your body and allow your body to dodge the attack. Smoker thought of this possibility, and only this possibility. The expression on his face became weird again. UB asterisk 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 D. Do you think Marine 6 styles has all learned? Have you finally found it? In the audience, at this time, Chen transformed into a bag of melon seeds. Although it's just an illusion that can't really replenish his body's energy, his illusion has reached its peak now. Although the food inside cannot achieve satiety, the taste and texture can still be imitated. Chi doesn't just know Marine 6 styles. He even went a step further and worked out the tricks after the fusion of the 6 styles of the High O2 army. Finger pistol. On the arena, Smoker's body was shattered again. This time, Smoker quickly figured out what trick Chi was using. Is there only one left to shave? Marine 6 styles, Luigi has shown 5 of them. The final shave is the most used technique by Marine 6 styles. Smoker didn't believe Luigi couldn't use it. As predicted. Next second, Chi in front of Smoker had disappeared. It's not hard to see from that subtle voice. What Chi used as shaving. I admit, your strength is stronger than mine, but. No hockey, it's your injury. Smoker glanced at his 10 hands. Seemingly ordinary 10 hands. In fact, the top is inlaid with a piece of sea stone. Luke is strong. However, as long as the capable person encounters the sea stone, the strength will be weakened according to the degree of adaptation to the sea stone. Sea stone is produced in Wano-kuni and is extremely precious due to its rarity, only Wano-kuni and Marine have it. As Marine, Chi also belongs to an espionage organization. Obviously, it is impossible to be stimulated by sea stone, and it is impossible to have sea stone tolerance. So, at this time, Smoker has figured out how to deal with Luigi. 6 styles 6 king guns. Chi has come to the front of Smoker. Hands swiveled around Smoker's body. Boom. A huge sound, louder than shelling, sounded. Smoker's chest was directly shattered by this huge force. It wasn't that Smoker was thinking about countermeasures and didn't respond. He has been keeping an eye on Chi. But, Chi's speed is too fast. He couldn't react at all. At this moment, Chi did not stop his movements, and a brilliance flashed in his eyes. 6 styles maximum 6 king guns. 5. Chi pressed his fists together. One more rotation. Boom. Boom. 99. It's like a salvo of artillery. The huge force directly shattered Smoker's entire body. Fine. Smoker is the Logia fruit. Seemingly miserable. In fact, it is unlikely that there will be any substantial harm. But, there was fear in his eyes. If this existence learns from armament hockey and observation hockey, how terrifying the strength will be. Just thinking about it makes me feel a little terrifying. Armament hockey and observation hockey are not too hard to learn. All it takes is hard work. Smoker doesn't know if Ludge is for work or some other reason for not learning armament hockey and observation hockey. But he knew something. As long as Chi learns, then he is no opponent at all. And absolutely, hard to imagine, how many strong people are hidden by the world government. The body gathers again. Smoker also had plans in mind. After this time, except for the training plan that Chen arranged for him. He also has an extra Marine 6 styles. At the very least, shave, moonwalk, and paper arts have to learn. Once, because of the power of the Logia fruit, Smoker didn't care too much about Marine 6 styles. Now it seems, this Marine 6 styles really has its own uniqueness. Still not working. Chi looked at Smoker in front of him. He frowned slightly, then stretched out. No, it still works. You are noticeably weaker. Of course it is. Looking at Chi, Smoker couldn't help but respond even if he knew he was a phantom. That way the body is directly crushed. If it is replaced by ordinary flesh and blood, the current arena is afraid that it will rain blood. He of the Logia fruit ability. Although this can be avoided. But there is no escape from physical exhaustion. Since it's useful. A few more strokes might kill you. Chi took a few deep breaths. The entire body begins to compress gradually. From the huge half-leopard, half-human form, to the size of Luigi's human form. Life is back, paper arts fights. This is also Chi's original trick. This state will reduce his fruited strength, but will also increase his speed. And, it can also save energy. Can see, Chi is planning to fight a protracted war. Defeat Smoker with the 053 War of Attrition. Wonderful. In the audience, Chen has finished eating a bag of melon seeds. A red light flashed in his eyes, and the melon seed shell had disappeared. The bag of melon seeds in his hand was filled with melon seeds again. This is the first time I've seen Logia be completely suppressed against an opponent of the same level. Even Luffy, who has the protagonist halo, has to open the protagonist halo after many attempts, and Enel's brain is stupid enough to fight Luffy to pose a threat to Enel. Lu Qi is a very good existence. Speaking of this, Lu Chen suddenly thought of something. GARP level armament hockey and category level observation hockey, whom he has been thinking about all the time, might be able to use him. After all, when Lu Qi joined the CPO and appeared in front of people again, it was very likely to hone his own hockey. Thought here. Lu Chen shook his head slightly. Just forget it. This Lu Qi's own fighting instinct is enough to pervert. If I let him get GARP level armament hockey and category level observation hockey, even I have to be careful, everyone on the Straw Hat Pirates can't stand it. Talking. Lu Chen looked at Lu Qi's opponent Smoker in the arena. However, as long as the two top hockeys of the pervert level are separated and trained by two people. Chapter 153 Hard to Win, Smoker's Training. According to Lu Chen's idea, GARP level armament hockey and category level observation hockey are more dangerous than categories observation hockey. Can briefly predict the future. Even just fighting is scary enough. This is the same trick as if it were hanging. Smoker can learn such a terrifying trick, but he has the observation hockey of the category level. Without his strength, Smoker would not be able to reach the level of the Emperor's deputy. And the strength of the observation hockey Smoker at the category level will not fall behind, and it can give Luffy enough pressure, and it will not directly put the Straw Hat Pirates into a desperate situation because of the rapid increase in strength. As for GARP level armament hockey, or, let the cranky guy try it. Anyway, because of his reckless personality, it is unlikely that he will threaten everyone, but it may give the red-haired B***** a headache. On the arena, at this point, the two sides collided again. Smoker and Luigi's bodies moved again. Every time Smoker attacks, he is dodged by Luigi's paper arts. Lu Qi's every attack, they were all dissolved by Smoker's Logia fruit ability. The battle at this time seemed to have entered a rather comical state. Whether it was Smoker or Lu Qi, both of them were attacking desperately, but neither of them could really touch each other. D. Smoker looked annoyed. Although Lu Qi is strong, he really can't do anything about him. But Smoker is different. There is a sea stone on his 10 hands. As long as he can touch Lu Qi, then the victory basically belongs to him. But, it's such a simple thing, he can't do it at all. Bang. Such a delusional effort. Smoker's head was blown off by Luigi. Puffs of smoke flew into the air. Smoker condensed again. The speed of the 10-handed waving speeded up again. Physique, you are strong, and you are strong at the crushing level. But why do I have to compare my physique with you? Look at Lu Qi in front of him. Although Smoker was reluctant, he still conceded defeat. The entire body turned into smoke, directly filling the entire arena. Although a bit mean. 99. However, victory is the most important thing. White Blast. With Smoker's abilities fully unlocked. The smoke floating in the arena spun directly around Lu Qi. Directly wrap Lu Qi to form a smoke tornado. Lu Qi, who was wrapped in it, tried a few times. But it was found that it could not be broken. Or, even if it breaks, the Smoker is quick to mend. Even with paper arts to escape, Smoker will soon catch up. Finally, Lu Qi gave up running away. The arena set up by Lu Chen is already big enough. But no matter how big it is also a bounded space, and it is impossible to escape all the time. Look around. Smoker couldn't attack him, even the Phantom Luigi didn't understand what Smoker was doing. Die. Just at this time, in a tornado of smoke. Countless arms raised 10 hands and stabbed at Lu Qi. These countless arms are the illusion of Smoker. And among those 10 hands, one of them is true. Dodge. Move. Lu Qi continued to do these actions. But, as the saying goes, people stumble and horses stumble. Even though Smoker didn't consider his physical strength at all, Lu Qi was hit. But, the resistance of the zone fruit, coupled with the strength of Smoker's multiple consecutive blows, is not very strong. Not only did Lu Qi not get hurt this time. On the contrary, it felt like giving him a massage. If you walk like this, your stamina will soon be exhausted. 35. At that time, if you can't even make smoke, how can you beat me? The Phantom Lu Qi used paper arts again, still dodging 99% of Smoker's attacks. Lu Qi, who was only endowed with fighting instinct by Lu Chen, began to taunt. If it's not a ghost, but a real person. Maybe Lu Qi will even give up the paper arts martial arts directly and use Zone's pervert's ability to fight hard. 35. However, just after Lu Qi Phantom finished mocking. It feels like its body is empty. How come? It's sea stone. Did you notice it? Smoker's body gradually emerged. 10 hands pressed hard against Lu Qi's neck. His clothes were completely soaked with sweat. He had just swung almost 5,010 hands, and this was the only one hit. If there are 2 more minutes, then he is really going to be consumed by Lu Qi. But, even if you win, Smoker wasn't too happy either. I am Logia. Lu Qi's attack could not hit him. Also trapped in a fixed size space. With so many injustices and disadvantages, Lu Qi could almost kill himself. If you see him in real life, I am afraid that I only have to escape for my life. Backquote. Well, go to die. Looking at Lu Qi, who collapsed on the ground and was immobilized by Seastone, with respect. Smoker slams the top 10. Next second, Smoker has returned to the audience. Fantastic matchup. Lu Chen waved his hand. The peel of the seeds and related stuff disappeared. Turned to look at Smoker. To be honest, when I first knew that your opponent was Lu Qi, I was not optimistic about you. I'm even thinking about whether your next level will be downgraded by another level and choose difficulty 5. Impossible. After returning to the auditorium, Smoker felt his body curiously. Your stamina is restored. It's amazing. Look at Lu Chen. After thinking for a while, C of Li Hao Mog decided to cut to the chase. Tell me, what training are you going to give me? Wait. 35. Lu Chen didn't answer Smoker's words directly. A red light flashed in his eyes. Take Smoker to the door where the difficulty was just chosen. To be honest, you are the first person to clear difficulty level 6. The previous best record was only difficulty 5. While talking, Lu Chen pondered for a moment. Although he had already thought about how much he wanted to improve for Smoker when he was just watching the game. However, it is still necessary to install it. Is that all right? I'll raise your observation hockey to the level of category. What? A surprised expression appeared in Smoker's eyes, and he looked at Lu Chen in disbelief. You mean category from the Big Mom Pirates? Is that the pervert level observation hockey level that claims to be able to predict the future? Chapter 154. Most likely it should be considered an acquaintance. The plasticity of seeing and hearing colors is still very high, and there are still many pervert levels. For example, Enel's knowledge color is also very pervert. That range, if the old thief can't remember it, should be the most perceptible range in One Piece. But, now is not the time to think about that either. Lu Chen looked at Smoker. What? Don't want to or think. 35. Smoker called out without thinking. As soon as he shouted it out, he scratched with a slight blush. Looking at Lu Chen with some dissatisfaction. Are you deliberately teasing me? 35. Ha ha ha, don't think too much. Wait a little here, I'll set up a training plan for you. Remember, you can wander freely in this space, but if you enter the difficulty gate, you will be at your own risk. With that said, Lu Chen entered the door of difficulty 6. This time, he thought of another way to play. I used to be afraid of others entering the door of difficulty because I was worried that they would find out that it was a void of nothingness. But, he can control it. He can directly set some things in the difficulty gate, and he can feel it if someone enters. If someone does not listen to the advice in the future, they will directly break in. 053. So it's not too much for him to directly put some experts of difficulty 10 in it. A thought here. A hearty smile appeared on Lu Chen's face. System, customize, train Smoker, get observation hockey at category level, armament hockey at vice admiral level. As requested by Lu Chen. The system starts to search. Ding. The training plan has been drawn up. Close black lens bracket. Training object. Smoker. Close black lens bracket. Training goals. Obtain observation hockey at the category level and armament hockey at the vice admiral level. Close black lens bracket. Training plan. Meditate in front of the sea for 5 hours every day, and break a 5-meter square stone every day for 600 days. Close black lens bracket. Good guy. More. What a boring, mechanical training program. Looking at the training plan, Lu Chen felt his scalp tingling, and he didn't know if he could do it with such a training plan. Anyway, if someone else does it, I can get it too. Slowly walk out of the door of difficulty 6. Smoker really stood there quietly and motionless. The training plan is out. Your training plan is to meditate in front of the sea for 5 hours a day, breaking a ACBD, 5-meter square stone every day for 600 days. What? Smoker listened to Lu Chen's words with a confused expression on his face. Does it work? Really? Another familiar word. Lu Chen is no longer surprised. This is my training plan for you. If you want to train, you can train. If you don't want to train, you can do it yourself. Talking, Lu Chen raised his right hand. Crack. After a snap of fingers, the two returned to the Sabayati archipelago again. All right. Smoker looked around. He still feels a little uncomfortable with Lu Chen's move. If I do this, I need to take a leave of absence from Marine for 2 years, otherwise it will be impossible to complete this training for the tasks I face at any time in Marine. If it doesn't work, I will definitely hunt you down to the ends of the earth. Facing the threat of Smoker, Lu Chen didn't take it seriously. System produced, must be a boutique. If you earnestly finish and don't get the power that satisfies you, I can stand where you are and let you kill once. Quote. What else did Smoker say? Lu Chen in front of him had disappeared. As for Lu Chen, he has already started looking for the supernova on the Sabayati archipelago again. For him, arranging supernova training is the purpose of his trip. The stronger the person who trains, the shorter the training time. The bigger benefit Lu Chen can get. A supernova is clearly the best fit right now. Smoker's unexpected appearance caught him off guard. Although he had achieved many goals, the time he wasted was still wasted. Now it is time to hurry up to find supernovae. Found another one. Search around. Lu Chen was keenly aware of a figure. Strong body. Wings on the back. Apparently the Sky Island people. It should be said that we are acquaintances who have never met, right? After all, he knows I've been to Sky Island, and I know he's a Sky Islander. While muttering a word, Lu Chen came to his side. Hi, big man. The person Lu Chen saw this time was Yekai from Sky Island. Yekai is nearly 4 meters tall. When he got close, it seemed that he was extremely strong. Yekai heard someone calling him and turned to look in dissatisfaction. He smiled slightly after finding out that it was Lu Chen. I didn't expect it to be you. How is it? Is Sky Island fun? Talk about your hometown. A proud expression appeared on Yoroge's face. Obviously, he has great confidence in his hometown. Especially after coming to Qinghai, this self-confidence is a bit more. Qinghai is big and colorful, and it is really colorful. But there is absolutely no place like Sky Island. According to the difference, it is enough to make Qinghai people excited. Very funny. Lu Chen nodded. If you don't take into account the fight with Enel. Sky Island is really fun. Completely different from all the islands in Qinghai, it is the most unique existence. That's fine, ha ha ha. Yoroge laughed happily. As a stranger. What makes him happy is when others praise his hometown. Okay, the polite words are over. Speaking of which. Yoroge changed the conversation. Looking at Lu Chen in front of him, a serious look appeared in his eyes. It's impossible for a guy like you to find me just to say that Sky Island is fun, right? Of course not. Lu Chen is also refreshing. I recently researched a training dojo. Familiar vocabulary. Familiar introduction. Said it to Yoroge again. Difficulty 1 to difficulty 10, as long as you can pass the level, you will be able to get the training program provided by me. You also know my ability. This training plan will definitely improve your strength qualitatively. I plan to wait until the training dojo is fully completed and then open a fee on the sea to fund the operation of the boat on the sea. 35. Now you are a tester and you can get 3 free tests. Are you going to try it? Listening to Lu Chen's words, Yoroge did not respond immediately. For him, strength improvement is a good thing, but it also depends on how it is improved. Lu Chen, basically they are rivals. Not to be trusted. There's nothing to lose anyway. I took part in the test. Chapter 155 Yoroge's wonderful choice. After thinking over and over again, in the end, the desire to become stronger overcomes the vigilance. Anyway, Lu Chen also said that there will be no danger to his life. Then test it out. There's nothing to lose anyway. It is good. Lu Chen stretched out his right hand. Crack. 35. With a snap of his fingers, Lu Chen had brought Yoroge to the front of the difficulty gate. I told you the rules just now, what difficulty are you going to choose? Yoroge didn't answer. At this time, he came to the front of the difficulty gate to watch. Because I got inspiration from Smoker before. At this time, the difficulty gate has not only a capital 1 to pick up, but a lot of decorations. Difficulty 1 is plastic door frame, difficulty 2 is black iron door frame, difficulty 3 is fine iron door frame, difficulty 4 is brass door frame, difficulty 5 is silver door frame, difficulty 6 is gold door frame, difficulty 7 is platinum door frame, difficulty 8 is diamond the door frame, the difficulty 9 is a sapphire door frame, and the difficulty 10 is a white jade door frame. Above, Lu Chen also thought of some decorations for them. It looks mysterious and high-end. This difficulty gate looks amazing. 99. That's natural. Lu Chen smiled slightly. He is naturally happy when the things he designed are recognized by others. This is something that will receive guests in the future, and naturally it needs to be better designed. So, how difficult are you going to challenge? Yoroge still didn't answer Lu Chen's words directly. After thinking for a while, he asked again, will the rewards be superimposed after multiple challenges? What? Listen to Yoroge. Lu Chen was also stunned by the question. The difficulty gate challenge is just a guise. To what extent he can become stronger depends on his own foundation and how much Lu Chen wants to make him stronger, that's all. But, this question, it can be considered to provide Lu Chen with new ideas. Although it is up to you to decide how to train to become stronger. However, Yoroge's proposal could be marketed as a pretext in the future. For example, 3 times difficulty 1 is equal to difficulty 2 and so on. Anyway, the training method is determined by yourself and the system. They don't know, but they will increase the number of challenges. At that time, won't you earn more Bailey? Yoroge, ah Yoroge. You don't look like a wise man. I didn't expect it to give me such an idea. This kind of marketing is not really clever marketing. But the so-called authorities are fans. Lu Chen just thought of making money through the difficulty gate, but he really didn't think about the specific means of operation. Yoroge's reminder is still useful. Nodded. Lu Chen said, of course. If you successfully challenge 3 times with a lower level of difficulty, you will be able to get a reward with a higher level of difficulty. For example, if you win 3 challenges of difficulty 1, you can get the reward of difficulty 2. If you win the challenge of difficulty 2 3 times, you can get the reward of difficulty 3, and so on. That's what I invited the testers to give 3 chances. Lu Chen said with seriousness. Actually, this is something I just came up with. I see. Yoroge nodded after hearing Lu Chen's words. He didn't know the thoughts in Lu Chen's mind, he just regarded it as the rules of the difficulty gate of this training dojo. If you choose the difficulty, look at the difficulty gate. Yoroge thought for a moment. He also instinctively brought into this difficulty gate according to the strength of the entire One Piece. If I have to say it, my strength should be around difficulty 5 and 6. However, since there are 3 rules to evolve the next level, I prefer not to choose difficulty 5 and difficulty 6. I choose difficulty 4. 35. Difficulty 4. Listen to Yoroge's choice. Lu Chen was also a little speechless. Yoroge is really weird. It is clear that he is very sufficient to judge his own strength. But still choose difficulty 4. Logically speaking. No matter how careful you are, you shouldn't choose difficulty 5. Then challenge 3 times in a row to get the reward of difficulty 6. Is it okay? Yoroge's question again. Chen nodded. Of course. 5. Are you sure you chose? Sure. Yoroge responded. It is good. Crack. Fingers snapped. Yoroge has been teleported to the arena. The opponent he faced was someone who didn't look very reliable. Or, very simple enemies. A pirate with a sword. This guy, Chen had seen on the bounty. However, there is no impression at all. If the reward amount is about 20 million Baileys. 0. Ask for flowers. Let's start. Accompanied by Chen's words. The pirate moved. You are mine. Not even finished talking. Yoroge's attack is over. Just a moment. Flesh and blood. Millions of pirates, in front of a supernova. Totally worthless. Quickly, Yoroge was back in the audience. Fast. Chen didn't even manage to make melon seeds. Looking at Chen, Yoroge said, it seems a little too easy. Your strength exceeds difficulty 4 too much. Chen spoke. Turning his head to look at Yoroge, he asked again, how is it? Is the next choice or difficulty 4? Or directly challenge difficulty 5? 0. Let me think about it. 35. Yoroge was lost in thought. The whole person showed a thoughtful expression. Never mind. Even if you challenge difficulty 5 now, you won't be able to get 3 chances, and you won't be able to get the reward of difficulty 6. Then challenge difficulty 4. Chen wanted to tell Yoroge that he could be given another chance to challenge difficulty 5. But, this sentence was still swallowed by him. In the future, this training dojo will definitely be open to the entire One Piece world. One is to make money. The second is to help yourself become stronger. It's not necessary to break your own rules now. And Yoroge's caution, even if he challenged difficulty 5 3 times in a row, should not be worth watching. Okay. Crack. Another snap of fingers. Yoroge entered the arena again. Come in a hurry. Go in a hurry. Yoroge is an instant kill in the face of millions of pirates. Quickly. It was another 2 difficulty level 4 challenges that passed directly. Yoroge was back in the audience again. Congratulations, you have cleared the difficulty level 4 3 times in a row, and you can already get the difficulty level 5 reward. Chen stretched out his hand again. Clap. With a snap of fingers, Chen and Yoroge returned to the difficulty gate. Wait a minute, I'll get you a training plan. 35. While speaking, Chen walked towards the door of difficulty 5. Don't forget to look back and remind Yoroge. Don't slam the door of difficulty easily, otherwise you will regret it. Chong. Chapter 156 Major Adjustments to the Training Dojo Rules. Done. Chen entered the difficulty level 5 without looking back. System, customize, train Yoroge, get armament hockey at Marine Vice Admiral level, get observation hockey at Marine Vice Admiral level. 9. Sky Island has passed. Regarding Yoroge, Chen really didn't think he could do anything to himself or the Straw Hat Pirates. Rewards aren't overthinking either. Directly choose the relatively simple and practical training. Ding. The training plan has been drawn up. Close black lens bracket. Training object. Yoroge. Close black lens bracket. Training goals. Obtain the armament hockey of the Marine Vice Admiral level, and obtain the observation hockey of the Marine Vice Admiral level. Close black lens bracket. Training plan. Meditate for 3 hours a day, break 2 stones of 5 meters square every day, and last for 300 days. Close black lens bracket. Is it easier? And the number of days is reduced. Seeing the training plan, Chen was thoughtful. 053, it seems that in this training trip, perhaps only Yoroge has gained the least strength. Smile. Chen walked out of the door of difficulty 5. Yoroge stood there, curious, but did not move. Yoroge, meditating for 3 hours a day, breaking 2 stones of 5 meters square every day for 300 days. It is good. Quote. Yoroge answered succinctly. He didn't lose anything at all in this training. And the plan proposed by Chen is also relatively easy, even if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Naturally, it was a happy promise. Crack. After a snap of fingers. Chen and Yoroge returned to the Sabayati archipelago. This time, Chen didn't immediately find the next victim, trained supernova. Instead, he found a corner to think about. The training dojo is now more and more perfect. After the supernova and their strengths increase, they will be their most prominent billboards in the One Piece world. As long as they really charge and start training others, there will definitely be a lot of powerhouses in the future. The strong, the 5 flowers 8 gate. But the real strong must have a certain awareness of their own strength. Supernovae have this awareness, not to mention the people in New World. There might be some scumbags like Luffy, people like Smoker who want to gamble, but not many. If you want to watch fierce battles, there are loopholes in the existing rules that let everyone choose the difficulty at will. There are definitely not a few people like Yoroge who challenge low levels to get training rewards. In that case, 35. Then it's time to change the rules. Chen has already started to rethink in his heart. There are also rules. That is, the difficulty is still randomly selected. However, the difficulty level cannot be lower than its own difficulty level. In this way, the rules are completely perfected. I didn't expect Yoroge, such a big man, to give me so many ideas. Did the training just given him feel a little too bad for his contribution to my training dojo? Forget it, let it be lower. He'll definitely come back to me once he's enjoyed the strength change that comes with training. It would be nice to give him a little more promotion next time. Think about new rules. Lu Chen muttered to himself again. Start searching again. Quickly. He found the next target. One of the supernovae, Scalopman Arp. Isn't this the head of a supernova? Hello, big brother. Goodbye, big brother. Apu said hello immediately after seeing Lu Chen. However, he obviously did not intend to have too much contact with Lu Chen, so he would leave after a few polite words. But, how could Lu Chen just let Apu go? Without moving his footsteps, he said slowly, don't rush to leave. Or, you're not going to get stronger. To become stronger, it really is the source of attraction that will never fall behind. Listen to Lu Chen. Apu's footsteps slowly stopped. Turning his head to look at Lu Chen. As a supernova, and among the supernovae, they are considered to be the most intelligent group of people. Apu understands the value of Lu Chen very well. The identity of the trainer, and the strengthening of the Straw Hat Pirates. All known to him. It's just that he doesn't think Lu Chen will help others train, which makes his idea of leaving just now so firm. It seems that you still have the idea of becoming stronger. Ha ha ha, what did brother Lu Chen say? Apu walked back again. Looking at Lu Chen, there was a hint of confusion in his eyes. He didn't know what Lu Chen wanted to do. But he was sure of one thing. Lu Chen has no plans to take action against him. It can be seen from the fact that Lu Chen was able to find him who was hiding, but he didn't plan to take action, but just let himself find out. That being the case, then listen to what Lu Chen said about becoming stronger. It is not impossible. I thought that brother Lu Chen has no one to take care of him now, so I plan to come over and ask brother Lu Chen if he needs help. Of course I need help. Lu Chen smiled slightly. Talk to Apu about the training dojo. How? Are you interested? Without any hesitation, Apu nodded directly. I am willing to serve brother Lu Chen. Good guy. Don't say you want to be stronger. Rather, it works for me. It looked like he was doing errands for me. This guy, such a smart head. Very heavy heart. Think for a moment. He smiled slightly. That's fine. Clap. A snap of fingers. Lu Chen and Apu have already come to the door of difficulty. At the moment of Apu's arrival, the 4 gates from difficulty 1 to difficulty 4 turned gray. Also has a chain on it. This is what Lu Chen came up with. If you don't want them to take advantage of the low level, wouldn't it be better to just block it? Apu looked at the door of difficulty and praised without hesitation. Is this the door of difficulty for brother Lu Chen? It's so beautiful. Compliments don't even count. Even some. Kneeling and licking. However, it was too fake. Lu 1.3 Shen was not happy, but rather uncomfortable. This door of difficulty. Lu Chen briefly described his new rules. I also talked about the reward method of low level 3 in 1. That's probably the case. Apu, what difficulty are you going to challenge? Apu is much normal this time. A look of thought appeared in his eyes. So, can my strength be ranked in difficulty 5 now? Lu Chen nodded. If that's the case, then I'll challenge difficulty 5. Readily. Lu Chen nodded with a smile and raised his right hand. Crack. A snap of fingers. Apu has already stood on the arena. The opponent that appeared on the opposite side of him was the 5th chord from Blade of Ghost Slayer, Tired. Chapter 157 Apu vs Tired. Please customize, please complete. Oh who. Seeing Apu's opponent, Lu Chen showed an unexpected expression on his face. Your opponent is a strong man from another world, a race called ghosts, but actually spider spirits. For people from other worlds, Lu Chen doesn't mind giving them a brief introduction. You can think of it as the zone spider fruit that is afraid of the sun. However, there is no sunlight in the arena. It's up to you how you want to beat him. After a brief introduction, Lu Chen stretched out his hand. A bag of melon seeds is ready. Crack. With a snap of fingers. Tired in the arena moved at this time. Looking at Apu in front of him, he slowly asked, Are you my enemy? Talking room. Ray was already moving. It's just that he is not preparing to do it directly, but is starting to change the environment of the arena. He wants to create a scene that suits him to fight. Apu on the opposite side naturally found this too. O2 Although the information Lu Chen gave him just now is not much, it is enough for him to understand Tired's ability to a certain extent. A spider. A simple remark. Apu glanced at the spider webs that gradually appeared around him. This is the place where spiders hunt. As long as they fall into the spider's web, it is impossible to escape the palm of the spider's hand. At present, he still doesn't know how tired the fighting power is. However, as a supernova, he also understands that to make the enemy uncomfortable is to increase the possibility of his own survival. Scrape the plate. Chop. 35. The body becomes an instrument. Apu's whole body began to emit a sound wave of music that was invisible to the naked eye. Under the control of Apu, these sound waves began to compete with the tired spider web for territory. Where are the tired spider webs? So where will Apu's sound waves go? You guy, tired of trying several times? Find yourself a failed plan to revamp the entire arena. A little annoyance appeared in his eyes. However, at least he was surrounded by spider webs and spider eggs. If that's the case, then don't blame me for being rude. Tired and spoke slowly. The whole person has exuded a momentum that is invisible to the naked eye, and even the hair has no wind at this moment. With Tired handling, the spider eggs surrounding him gradually exploded. Countless little spiders crawled out of it. Good guy. Apu looked awkward. There are only about 7 or 8 spider eggs. But there are thousands of little spiders coming out of it. densely paved the entire ground. This scene, whether spider lovers or spider fearers, should be silent. And frighten a group of patients with esophagus to death. Clang. A deafening sound rang out. App got serious. The whole person has erupted with the highest fighting power. He didn't know what abilities these little spiders had. But he is very clear. If you let them get close, you are afraid that you will die miserably. A huge sound wave appeared, enough to encompass the entire arena. This time, the sound waves appear golden as a whole. Even, it has reached the level of realization. Invisible and colorless things materialize. In the audience, Chen was eating melon seeds with a thoughtful expression on his face. This guy has something. 99. Invisible and colorless things, similar to air, sound. These things are the best weapons to kill. Because no one will be wary of them. But, if you want to control these things, the difficulty is not generally big. That's a decent ability. 99. In the arena, this sound wave instantly enveloped the entire arena. In a blink, those little spiders are completely dead. The dead little spider did not leave a body, but turned into a little bloody brilliance and disappeared into the arena. Is it really the embodiment of ability? Silently muttered a word. Apu looked at Tired again in front of him. After competing for territory, resolved the Tired offensive. At this time, he was also a bit tired of understanding. If you use the world view of the One Piece world, Tired is a person who survives purely on ability. In that case, I have a way to deal with you, too. 35. Apu's hands that were turned into musical instruments gradually disappeared. At this moment, a pair of fists were actually covered with a layer of black that people could not see through. Oh hoo, armament hockey. Seeing this scene, Chen's eyes lit up. Even the melon seed stopped. Although from the color point of view, coupled with the analysis of factors such as attachment area. This Apu's armament hockey is the level he just learned. But that's enough. This guy is definitely the strongest group of people in Supernova so far. Although there is information that this guy secretly joined Kaido's Beasts Pirates 2 years later, it is not necessarily accurate. 35. Moreover, my arrival has already changed the world line. It is not impossible for such smart people to stand in line in advance or find a backer. After a little thought, Chen thought of the man who was almost invulnerable. Even if he were to face Kaido now, he might not be able to beat him with a 90% chance of winning. A credit to Kaido, or is it really a supernova? Chen was thinking. The situation in the arena has changed. If it is said that it has always been Tired to dominate the attack before. So now it's Apu's counterattack. The top of the double fist 053 turned into a pair of sticks. It is not completely accurate to say that it is a stick. A more accurate statement should be a drumstick, which is just a large drumstick with a length of 1 meter 5. The drumsticks are attached to the unskilled armament hockey. Waving all the way forward. Originally, half of the arena with spider webs and half without spider webs was under the strong attack of Apu. In less than half a minute, he took back half of it. The ordinary place without cobwebs has reached 3/4 of the entire arena, and the Tired is compressed to a very small range of activities. You guy, can you still laugh now? Take a break. Apu looked forward. Tired is not only not afraid because of the reduction of the sight. Even with a smile on his face. Although Apu had doubts in his heart, he didn't care too much. The result of his test just now is, armament hockey is able to work on Tired spider webs, that is, energy. That kind of state that seems to melt after being touched by armament hockey is definitely not something that can be made by showing off the enemy and being weak. So, are you afraid? Tired doesn't explain much. Spread your hands. The cobwebs spread out again towards the surroundings. This time, adult spiders have appeared on the web. No, it should be a humanoid spider. Chapter 158 The Battle of the Two Worlds. Isn't it so easy to deal with? Apu was not surprised by Tired's counterattack. According to Chen's classification, difficulty 5 should be their group of supernovas, or opponents with a reward of over 100 million. If he said it was so easy to deal with, he would have to doubt whether the training dojo of Chen was useful. However, I don't care. Talking. Apu took a few steps backwards in a row. The huge drumsticks in both hands disappeared. The belly is enlarged, showing the appearance of a drum. Ding ding dong, jingle bells. Familiar music sounded. A sound wave has spread to the surrounding. It fell exactly on those humanoid spiders. With the invasion of sound waves, those spiders were shattered by Apu not long after they appeared. But, take this opportunity. Tired directly regained the territory that Apu had just taken away. The spider web stretched forward again. This time. The spider web has turned from white to blood. Is this going to be desperate? See the change in the color of the spider web. Although Apu didn't know what Tired was going to do, he also understood. This change is definitely not just a change in color. The hands and feet changed again. This time, he turned his hands and feet into giant drumsticks. To do so, naturally, it is necessary to extend the attack range as much as possible. Armament hockey is attached to the very front of the drumsticks. Apu's eyes burst out with fierce fighting intent. Kill. Blood ghost art, killing eye cage. However, Apu has yet to show an offensive stance. Tired took the lead in launching the attack. The spider silk on the territory he had just recaptured completely popped out. Attacking from all directions towards Apu. These blood-colored spider webs weave a huge web in midair. Look at this posture. It was intended to trap Apu first. Then make your next plan. Don't forget, my armament haki can restrain you. In this regard, Apu did not care too much, showing a touch of confidence on his face. The fists that turned into drumsticks were thrown out. However, in the first moment of contact, he found armament haki, who was able to dissolve spider webs just now, is not working anymore. Could it be that he was really showing weakness just now? As soon as the words were spoken, Apu shook his head in denial. No, the sense of ablation just now can't be artificially controlled. If he can really achieve that level, I can't fight him at all. Then, there is only one answer. He strengthened his spider silk. My armament haki wasn't strong enough to explain that. 99. Want to understand everything. AP was not worried. There was infinite fighting intent in his eyes. Although armament haki can't play right now. 35. However, if I just focus on it, I can barely do it. After all, I play music. Music, concentration needs are extremely high. The sounds seem to be scattered, spreading in all directions. But people who make voices have to be more focused than other professions because of factors such as tone and syllables. As Apu said, he may not be able to improve his armament haki's proficiency and strength in a short period of time. But it's not impossible to concentrate the armament haki you have now. Hey, a spear-like thing flew out instantly. Wrong. That's not a long gun. It's the baton of the orchestra conductor. I'm going, so dramatic. I thought I could fight for a while. In the audience, Chen was also quite surprised by this result. Tired obviously did not expect Apu to have such a trick. His physical skills are not enough for him, and there is no way to avoid this blow. The brain is penetrated. This closed blood ghost technique, killing the eye cage, dissipated. Even he himself died directly. This guy is really difficult to deal with even if he is only capable. If it is not unexpected, I will probably be killed by him. Apu's voice appeared, and he came to Chen's side. Yoroj was back in the audience again. No. Chen shook his head. Whether it's a surprise, or some other way, a win is a win. Crack. A snap of fingers. Chen and Apu have come to the difficulty gate. I'll go get you a training plan first, and you should stay here for a while. This time, Chen didn't remind Apu. Because he has already set it up. If there are outsiders who break into the difficulty gate at will, then it will trigger the mechanism that Chen stayed at the door. Although this fantasy is not dead, but the feeling of death will remain in his memory forever. When will it be rescued? Then it depends on Chen's mood. System, customization, training Skalakman AP, complete master roar. Lion's roar technique, expanding the voice and increasing the power of the voice, can be said to be the most suitable trick for Apu. Although it is said that the destructive power of the martial arts world is lower than that of this superpower world. However, the increase in tricks will not change. If the user is Apu, it is not completely unimaginable to cultivate to the 4 Emperors level and destroy an island with a roar. Ding. The training plan has been drawn up. Close black lens bracket. Training object. Skalakman AP. Close black lens bracket. Training goal. Complete Master Lion's Roar. Close black lens bracket. Training plan. Release your voice for 1 hour a day for 600 days. Close black lens bracket. Backquote. Good guy, shouting for an hour, and it will last for 600 days, do you want your throat? While ranting, Chen also had some judgments in his heart. Judging by the number of days and difficulty. What I just thought was fine. The power of martial arts in the martial artist world will be weaker than in a superpowered world like One Piece. However, the increase of Li Hao's martial arts cheats is not bad. Nodding slightly, Chen walked out of the difficulty 5 room. At this time, Apu was touching the door of difficulty 10. It seems to be measuring what material and how much it can be worth. Aware that Chen came out, Apu hurried away from the door, pretending to be nothing. Your training plan is out. Release your voice for 1 hour a day for 600 days. What? Apu was directly confused. Does this mean you want to lose your voice? Just as he was about to say something, he found himself back on the Sabayati archipelago. Is there still Chen around? Depend on. Apu cursed, and at this time he could only accept his fate. At the same time, Zoro, who was drinking, accidentally broke into a place where a crowd gathered. An extremely tall man was holding on to the chains around his neck in pain. Chapter 159 My knife, there is nothing to cut continuously. Save me, please save me. Those who spoke were desperate and distressed. There are a lot of people around, but not even a single person helps, not even close to him. Collar. Or a slave collar. This represents their identity. Celestial dragons. Get involved in Sabayati archipelago and celestial dragons. Are you despising your own longevity? What's going on here? Zoro drank his drink with a curious expression on his face. Under everyone's surprised and frightened eyes, he came directly to him. Are you in pain? Hey, little brother, don't get involved with him. See that collar? It's a sign of a slave, not owned by nobles around the world, or a servant of celestial dragons. Soon, someone with a good heart came forward to remind him. However, Zoro didn't really care. The man grabbed Zoro's shoulder as if seeing hope. It's painful, very painful. Please, please, please. Anything is good, no matter what you use. A saw or an axe, get rid of it. 55. Everything is fine, lend me 053. This is a rather funny looking man. It's not hard to see the strength of his grip on his shoulder. This is a strong one. However, what makes Zoro a little confused is, how could such a strong man be so afraid of such a thing? Is that the collar? Zoro lifted his shoulders and let the pirate's hands fly off his shoulders, slowly twitching the saber at his waist. It was Kaden Kyokutsu that was used. Hey, are you really going to do this? Seeing that Zoro was actually drawing a knife, people around him immediately stepped forward. People trapped by slave collars are either criminals or pirates. There was no need to save him at all. On the other side, someone spoke. No, that's a slave collar, it even contains sea stone, it's indestructible. Even if you are the top swordsman, if you can cut it, the bomb contained in it will kill him. The third person spoke again. Breaking the collars of slaves is also equivalent to challenging the authority of the world government. Maybe he is still a slave of celestial dragons, do you mean to offend celestial dragons? Quickly, the gossip came into Zoro's ears. However, Zoro didn't care too much. For Zoro, what world government, what celestial dragons do not need to pay attention to? Indifferently said. But, he is in pain, isn't he? Even if he is guilty of anything, just let him be punished. Right, here Zoro. The man with the slave collar had tears in his eyes. If I make a mistake, I will go to jail, and I can even reform and try to correct it. 99. I don't want to be under that person. He will kill me. Pain, fear, and despair. No one knows what happened to him. To be able to make such a strong man afraid to such an extent. Even if I say I'll be killed by a bomb, I don't want to go back. 35. Hearing his words, Zoro smiled slightly. A hint of admiration appeared on his face. That's right, that's right. It's better to fight to the death than to be controlled. I admire you very much, which gives me another reason to save you. Kaden Kyokutsu unsheathed. At this time, the knife has gradually exuded some different flavors. Although Zoro has not reached the level of thorough communication with Tao, these time efforts are not in vain. He already has some connections with Kaden Kyokutsu. It was a mysterious feeling. Ho ho ho. So you are here. Just at this time, 4 figures approached from far and near. 2 men in fancy clothes, one with a ferocious face ACBD, a slave with chains around his neck, and a soldier 4. Ding, 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 ding. Just at this time, a voice gradually sounded. This was the sound from the slave collar. Run. Hear this voice. Everyone quickly dispersed as if they had thought of something. Slave collars will explode. Save me, save me. As the celestial dragons approached, there were voices coming from the slave collars. Zoro was the only straw left for the pirate. Are you really going to save him? A slightly calmer voice sounded. The speaker is a female celestial dragons. She didn't take Zoro in her eyes at all. Or, there is no existence in the whole world that she can look down on. This is celestial dragons, completely detached from the existence of ordinary human beings. A human tumor standing entirely on top of the world. If you can make me happy, you can replace him as my slave, and it's not impossible to let him go. No way. Zoro shook his head. He understands the meaning of celestial dragons, but he doesn't think celestial dragons are more noble than himself. Zoro doesn't care much about becoming someone else's slave. If there is such a day in the future, it can only be said that his strength is not enough. But now he cannot be restricted from freedom. He also has a promise to become the world's #1 swordsman with Kuina, and he also has a mission to accompany Luffy to the final island and help him become the pirate king. Kaden Kyokutsu is completely unsheathed. Zoro didn't look in the direction of the celestial dragons, his eyes fell on the chains that made the sound. I still have a deal with other people. If that's the case, then don't mind your own business. The voice of the female celestial dragons was already a little irritable. She found that she had spoken a few words to a mortal. At this moment, she decided to go back and brush her teeth more times tonight. Zoro didn't notice it at all, and still said to himself, I don't want to be a nosy, even though I don't want to. 99. But it's also true that you always want to lend a hand when you see someone asking for help. This scene, it can be said that all the onlookers were stunned. Only, they didn't dare to speak up. Oh, the older celestial dragons looked disdainful. So, what can you do with this slave collar? Stainless steel mixed with sea stone is the strongest alloy in the world. What's more, your knife is really sharp enough to split it, and there is a second layer of insurance in the collar. No matter what you do, you can't let that pirate live, right? How can you know if you don't try it? Zoro took a step back. Armament hockey has been wrapped around Kaden Kyokutsu in his hand. And, my knife. Nothing is ever chopping. Chapter 160 appears, the peach land will not be cut again. Zoro was completely unaffected. His purpose has always been clear and firm. The whole person has entered a state of mysterious. The 2 knives, one long and one short, were held in his hands. Kaden Kyokutsu, accompanied by the shouting of his real name. The power of Zanpakuto emerges instantly. The surrounding environment seemed to be affected at the moment. What kind of power is this? The 2 celestial dragons were dumbfounded at this time. They are also people who have seen the big scene. Marine Admiral, also the strength of the senior generals of the Army and Air Force have been seen. Pirates have also obtained through special channels. However, but he had never seen Zoro's power. Janao. It doesn't feel right. The people around were also attracted by Zoro's tricks, and even forgot their fear of celestial dragons for a while. Looking in Zoro's direction, there was also a look of anticipation on his face. The sense of security Zoro displayed reassured them. They also want to know now. Can Zoro do it? Quote. After unleashing the power of Zanpakuto, Zoro could feel the power of Kaden Kyokutsu more clearly. At this moment, he seemed to have a little enlightenment. Just thinking about those mysterious insights behind closed doors. Rather, it shows the power of Zanpakuto and its collision. Unexpectedly, just trying to save people, it showed me a new way of thinking. This moment, Zoro found a way to communicate Zanpakuto more effectively. The corners of his mouth rose slightly. 2 cuts. The figure passed by. Zoro was already behind the collared slave. Kaden Kyokutsu in his hand even expressed joy at this time. Clap. The sound of heavy objects falling to the ground sounded. The slave collar had been cut off by Zoro. Even. The sound of the dee of the explosion disappeared immediately. As if there were no bombs in it at all. Zoro's knife not only cut off the slave chains, but even completely destroyed the inside of the bomb. What? How is this possible? This moment, both celestial dragons and other onlookers were stunned. They didn't know what exactly Zoro did. It was only vaguely aware that Zoro had slashed. Hey, 35. Are you going to die? 55. That's celestial dragons. Just at this time, a little girl appeared beside Zoro. Before Zoro knew what was going on, he just felt his body getting smaller. The little girl took out a set of clothes and put it on him. Then he disappeared into the crowd. The person here is naturally Bonnie. What about people? Find him for me. After the shock. That celestial dragon's father and daughter were ecstatic. This is a rare work of art. However, when they reacted again, Zoro has disappeared. The people around are naturally seen. Only, how could Bonnie and Zoro be noticed by such a person? With the advantage of being a child, he disappeared here long ago. The crowd of onlookers who want to betray Zoro to please celestial dragons can't tell. Aren't you with kid? Zoro made a big splash. And it is against the big sensation of celestial dragons that is enough to shock the whole world. The other side of the Sabayati archipelago is light and cloudy. At this time, a person appeared in front of Chen. Kira, a fighter of the Kid Pirates. Also a supernova. This is an existence whose debut even exceeds Zoro's bounty. Although the bounty does not fully represent the strength. But it can also be analyzed how powerful he is, and how much it gives Marine a headache. We're not alone, how could we be together forever? Kira looked at Chen. Curious eyes appeared. It's you, why did you find me? In Kira's view, Chen is the most shining and most famous person in the whole sea except for the existence of New World. Before entering the New World, he had a bounty of 500 million yuan, which was the biggest recognition given to him by the world government. Chen didn't hide it either. Of course I have something to ask you for help. 99. Ask me for help. Kira noodles are weird. Do you still need my help? Of course. 9. Chen nodded. I'm not a god, how could I not need the help of others? Talking. Chen introduced his training dojo to Kira. By the way, I introduced the rules in the training dojo. 0. Ask for flowers. How? Are you interested? It's a beta test now, so it's a free test. If you wait for me to open in the future, if you want to become stronger, just the admission fee will be enough to hurt your flesh. Kira looked at Chen. He believed in Chen. The Straw Hat Pirates appear in newspapers and reports almost every time. Their strength changes are very obvious. If it is said that a single person has any adventures, then he will not care too much. But the point is, every time it appears, it is an overall improvement. Chen also calls himself a training room. How is it possible not to be curious? Not to doubt. It's not impossible. Kira's voice just fell. Chen smiled slightly. Crack. 35. 0. 0. A snap of fingers. Chen took Kira to the front of the difficulty gate. Judging by the strength of the standard set by yourself. The moment Kira entered the difficulty gate, chains appeared in the first 4 gates in an instant, and they closed directly. Even, in Chen's perception, the 5th door had a vague feeling that it was about to close. Is this guy so awesome? Could it be that he was also an existence who had hockey before he entered the new world? Doubt arises in my mind. Chen's face was not obvious. Looking at Kira in front of him, he asked, you know the rules, how many difficulties do you plan to challenge? How difficult is it? Kira said, eyes swept around. He quickly became acquainted with the situation in this fantasy. It seems that my strength is still average. It's not too bad. Chen nodded noncommittally. More precisely, it should be upper middle class. After all, difficulty 10 is just a pretense, and there is no such person in this world. So, how difficult are you going to challenge? Aren't there 3 chances anyway? Kira pondered for a while and spoke again. Let's start with difficulty 5, and then go to difficulty 6 if you can win. It's not impossible. 35. It's your choice, and of course you can do whatever you want. Crack. Chen snapped his fingers. Kira has been teleported to the arena. The enemy opposite him is, Teodi will not be cut again. Factory. Chapter 161 Hard Battle, Terrible Opponent. It turned out not to be cut again. Chen's face also showed surprise. Kira, you have to be careful. Out of the rules you set for yourself. Lu Chen reminded again. This person is from another world. He has extremely powerful concealment skills, but don't let him give you a swipe. Kira in the arena still didn't understand what was going on. Hearing Lu Chen's words at this moment, he also nodded. The rules are set by Lu Chen, so what Lu Chen said must be valuable. Let's start. 9. Crack. 35. After a snap of fingers. The no slash in the arena moved. Looking at Kira in front of him with lifeless eyes. Are you my opponent? Kira didn't respond. He clearly remembered what Lu Chen said before. This opponent's means of hiding himself are very powerful. So, fast break, it became 070, his choice. Thought here. Kira's eyes suddenly burst out with a strong desire to fight. The figure is fast. It came directly to the front of the uncut. The weapon in his hand like a scythe suddenly slashed down. Death. 35. The roar, accompanied by fierce slashing, directly penetrated the body that was not slashed. It directly split the body that never cut into two halves. In this way, it can be said to be a spike. However, Kira's expression did not show happiness. The arena hasn't disappeared either. Not the body. Is it a stand-in? Or other tricks? 99. Kira is still analyzing. The Zaibujian that was cut in half in front of him had turned into water. Water. Kira looked weird. The whole person also showed a hesitant expression. No, it's not just water. It's not just water. Or. This water has changed directly. Ninja Mist Shinobi. With the sound from the corner of the arena. At this moment, the water that was transformed by the god of water, which was not slashed, turned directly into mist. Filled up the entire arena directly. Quote. Kira backed away immediately. Quickly came to the corner according to his memory. The sky was foggy, and even the direction could not be discerned. Not to mention finding a figure with a very high hidden power inside. Looking around, Kira looked nervous. What a powerful guy. At this time, a cracking sound rang out. Clang. 99. Accompanied by the sound of metal symphony. Kira responded. He directly blocked the knife. However, that's all. Until the time to return to God. There was only a vague broadsword in his field of vision. The phantom of the broken sword, the beheading sword. Damn it, how to fight this? A look of complaint rose on his face. Kira didn't know how to face this enemy either. Mystery. Can't find the location at all. He seemed to be a target in the shooting range. Completely let Teodi not cut to play. Not to mention that there is no room for counterattack at all, it is almost too much. Water style, water dragon bomb technique. Another voice sounded. Immediately after, there was a cool feeling in front of Kira. Although I don't know why, but he instinctively avoided it. Boom. A loud voice sounded. The arena wall that Kira had just leaned against was directly hit by a water dragon. Obviously it's just water, but it uses more terrifying power than bombs. It seems. Have to use it. Kira looked at the broken corner of the arena, sweat dripping from her forehead. Listening to Kira's words, outside the arena, Lu Chen, who was eating melon seeds in the audience, had a look of doubt on his face. Have to use it. 35. Really, clearly appeared on Lu Chen's face. The warning at the difficulty gate just now has leftovers. 35. This guy really has trump cards. The trump card that can handle the water mist technique. Looks like observation hockey. Observation hockey, which can sharpen the five senses, can detect the breath of surrounding creatures and changes in emotions, and can also be used to predict and avoid danger. This is the most appropriate way to deal with invisible enemies in the world of One Piece. With a slight smile, Lu Chen's interest increased even more. Another wave of hands. A snack cart appeared in front of him. Lu Chen took a bottle of Fat House Happy Water and a bag of cucumber-flavored potato chips on it. Full of interest, he began to eat. Sure enough, supernovae are all existences that can surprise people. In the audience, Lu Chen was full of interest. In the arena, Kira is in danger. At this point, he was stunned by the mist shinobi technique of never slaying. Only for dodging, there is no counterattack at all. Call 0. He exhaled lightly. Kira's face showed a dignified look. His demeanor changed from solemn to relaxed at this moment. Clang. There was another metallic screeching sound. The weapon in Kira's hand collided with the beheading sword that never cut again. Really. In the audience, Lu Chen patted on the outside of the bag of chips. Then bow your neck. After pouring all the slag into his mouth, he nodded with satisfaction. Although it was said just now that Kira and the weapon that never slashed collided. But the situation has fundamentally changed. The weapons that were never cut before were discovered by Kira, and then Kira was passively defended. Although it is said to have kept it, it is extremely reluctant. Even Kira's body already had many scars of different sizes. But this time is different. Kira completely guessed or sensed the attack that would not be slashed again, and attacked in advance. This time, not only did Kira not appear passive. On the contrary, it is because the strength is greater than that of not slashing again. Let's not cut a small loss again. Observation hockey, and the more mature observation hockey that has been used. Lu Chen quickly made a judgment. Only, what puzzled Lu Chen was. Why does Kira have to hide until now? Is it because of fear of kids' jealousy? But, that fool doesn't seem to be jealous. Or, is it because your timeline has changed since 1.3? I don't understand. Can't figure it out either. But Lu Chen didn't care either. He was still watching the battle on the arena with relish. Looks like you figured out a way to break my mist shinobi technique. On the arena, the sound of no more slashing sounded. Vaguely. At this moment, the water mist, which was invisible before reaching out, faded a lot. At this time, Zaibujan stood in front of Kira like this. Certainly. How can there be two obvious weaknesses if you can reach the level of you and me? 35. If you just can't see it, there's nothing you can do. How can such a person reach the level of difficulty 5? At this point, Kira had already recognized that Zaibujan was equal to, or even surpassed, his own strength. However, he did not intend to admit defeat. You have to be prepared for the next counterattack. At the end of chapter 162, Kira wants to behead the sword. Kira was also interested. Now that observation haki is no longer hidden. Then there is no need to worry too much. The whole person turned from defense to attack. Go directly to kill without cutting. However, at this moment, he suddenly stopped again. In the perception, there are actually two figures who are not slashed. Twin. No. 99. Self-denial. Kira denied his inference. Judging from the aura they perceive, there is basically no difference between the two. One is slightly stronger and the other is slightly weaker. A trick similar to a clone. Quickly, Kira made a judgment again. Kira didn't have a long time to judge. Probably less than a second. And it's just 1 second. If you don't cut it again, it's already a killer. He separates with his water. That's right. Two of Kira's perceptions will not cut again, and one of them is the water body that will not cut again. Die. Two beheading knives slashed down suddenly. But it didn't hit. O2 Kira rolls on the spot. Directly dodged such a blow. Water style, big waterfall technique. It is no surprise that it is not cut. Hands pinch. Hand print out. Directly used the great waterfall technique. In the entire arena, a huge water current that was enough to submerge the entire arena instantly surged. One left and one right. Just smashed it straight at Kira. Well done. 35. Kira didn't mean to back down either. Even rushed towards the waterfall. The weapon in his hand swung suddenly. A huge slash swung from his weapon. It even directly split the great waterfall that would not be cut in half. By the way, the one who is slightly weaker in his perception will not be cut off again. After the slash approached, the human body instantly disappeared and turned into a pool of water. This knife didn't cut it and never cut it again, it was the water body that didn't cut it again. Sure enough, it was the trick at the beginning. 99. Kira muttered something, but it didn't stop. The body turned back again. People have come to the front of the uncut. The weapon that looks like a scythe in his hand is suddenly under his command. Clang. The one who is still performing the great waterfall technique just now can only be hard connected. Bang. 55. The two weapons clashed. Without slashing, he flew backwards in an instant. Looking at Zaibujan, although he said that he has the advantage of being the first mover, but being able to pop Zaibujan out has already shown the gap between the two. You are not as good as me in terms of pure strength, my guess is indeed correct. Kira smiled in satisfaction. His gaze was on the sword that would never be cut again. This knife had done him a lot of damage before. Moreover, he could vaguely perceive that it would suck its own blood. A look of hope appeared in his eyes. He has decided what he wants. It's just, I don't know if Lu Chen will give it to him. Come again. Kira didn't give Zaibujan a chance to recover. Squat again and press in. After a few more rounds of confrontation. The beheading sword that will not cut it has already flown out. Kira has won. Congratulations. In the audience. Where are Lu Chen's snack carts, potato chips, melon seeds and Fat House Happy Water? He let Kira disappear long ago when he was about to come out. It's a great fight. Kira nodded thoughtfully. He is indeed a great man. Okay. 35. Lu Chen raised his right hand. Crack. A snap of fingers. Lu Chen and Kira have already come to the difficulty gate. Wait here, I'll make a training plan for you. Wait a minute. Just when Lu Chen was about to enter the difficulty gate, Kira spoke up. Looking at Lu Chen, Kira asked, I want to. You can't ask for it, or else you'll be kicked out. Lu Chen looked at Kira with annoyance on his face. I already have a plan in my mind. When he was just fighting, he had been staring at the beheading sword that would never be cut again. What you want is self-evident. All right, Kira nodded. I think if I have it, my strength can be improved to a higher level. But it's still better than losing the chance to become stronger. It's good to know. Lu Chen nodded slightly, with a satisfied expression on his face. He was still trying to give Kira something. Now, there is no need to think about it. Slowly walked into the door of difficulty 5. System, customize, train Kira, get the forged knife and the beheading sword. As the sound of the system deduction draws to a close. Kira's training plan is also out. Ding. The training plan has been drawn up. Close black lens bracket. Training object. Kira. Close black lens bracket. Training goal. Get a beheading sword. Close black lens bracket. Training plan. Beat iron ore for 10 hours a day for 600 days. Close black lens bracket. Is this beheading sword so powerful? A hint of doubt flashed in Lu Chen's eyes. Basically, the difficulty of the training program represents the improvement for him. The 7 ninja sword is indeed a rare treasure. But in theory, it shouldn't be so strong, right? Shaking his head slightly, Lu Chen also ignored it. No matter how strong you are, you will eventually give yourself one. Lu Chen didn't suffer either. On the contrary, the stronger the better. Your training plan came out, pounding iron ore 10 hours a day for 600 days. After walking out of the door of difficulty 5, Lu Chen told Kira about his training plan. This training plan made Kira stunned. Ah, what does this mean? However, Lu Chen didn't plan to tell 070 about him. Crack. 35. A snap of fingers. The two returned to the Sabayati archipelago. At this time, chaos broke out on the island. How is this going? Such a scene. Even Lu Chen was puzzled. Could it be that? Sudden, Lu Chen seemed to have thought of something. He didn't care what happened to Kira beside him. Just left here. Sabayati archipelago unrest. The pirates fled. Marine is all over the island. This could not have been more obvious. It's just that, in terms of time, it shouldn't be. Frowning slightly, Lu Chen looked around, finally found a single person. He came to him without hesitation. He asked in a slightly threatening tone, what happened to the island? This man is clearly a pirate. At the moment is the stage of escape. Being left by Lu Chen was obviously a little uncomfortable. What are you? However, the next second, he obediently said it. On the opposite side of Lu Chen, red light flashed in his eyes. It is the illusion of blood wheel eyes. I see. After listening to Pirate's description, Lu Chen frowned slightly. At this point he already understood what was going on. Luffy makes an auction, and Zoro provokes celestial dragons. If that's the case, then should that be the plot? Chapter 163 Naval Headquarters Encirclement Straw Hat Crew. The Straw Hat Crew's first, and perhaps only true crisis, was hunted down by the men of Naval Headquarters. Here, Lu Chen is also tangled. Although Straw Hat Crew has become much stronger under his own training, it is not enough to compare with the people sent by Naval Headquarters. Now is a demarcation point. In the end is to help Straw Hat Crew avoid 2 years of separation, or cannot say. With bears around anyway, Straw Hat Crew won't have a real-life crisis. Never mind. Shaking his head slightly, the tangled Lu Chen quickly made a decision. The road still has to go on. This separation is also a journey of growth for Luffy and their really big strides. The so-called separation now is for a better goodbye in the future. Lu Chen finally decided not to shoot. These 2 years. He'll make the best plan for Luffy and the others, and then. It's also a good choice to really open a training dojo in New World. 39. Sabayati Archipelago. Deep. At this time, Luffy and others have gathered together. Where's Lu Chen? Luffy's eyes were solemn, and in front of them was a huge robot that looked exactly like a bear. Nami looked nervous. I don't know. The group dispersed as soon as they arrived at the Sabayati Archipelago. Lu Chen is always elusive, how would he know where he is now? Damn it. Luffy looked angry. At this point, a decision had to be made. Lu Chen will be fine, now let's get rid of the big guy in front of us and return to Thousand Sunny as soon as possible. Everyone else nodded. Lu Chen doesn't have to worry about them. What they have to do now is to protect themselves and not let Lu Chen worry. Go ahead and solve this B********** D first. Luffy took the lead. Hand in mouth. The entire arm instantly became enormous. It's the third gear. And, this is no ordinary third gear. With the help of Lu Chen, Luffy at this time has been able to perfectly master the third gear. Without any side effects, plus the ability to use armament haki and observation haki. Even if it's not as good as Luffy, who came back 2 years later in the original book, it's not too different. Third gear. Rubber, Giant's Hammer. Luffy shot first. The huge arms are painted in black representing armament haki. Without any hesitation, he attacked the bear-shaped robot, the robot named Pacifist. See Luffy in action. The pacifists are not ducking. There was a strange red light in his eyes. It's calculating. He raised his hand slightly, and a laser cannon appeared from his palm. The entire body directly launched the maximum power laser. In a blink, a golden light flashed with yellow. In the blink of an eye, it devoured Luffy. Luffy. XN. Seeing Luffy being consumed by a laser. Everyone cried out in concern. Zoro and Sanji frowned slightly. In this situation, they still did not make a move. But on prevention. Don't worry about me. 95. The smoke gradually dissipated. Luffy flew out of it unscathed. The goal is still to target the pacifists in front of them. The prototype of this laser comes from Kizaru, and the damage can be said to have a sufficient amount of protection. However, after all, this is the power of fruit, even if it is a laser converted from science. Armament haki is still restraining it, and now Luffy's fist has armament haki bodyguards. It can't be said that he is unscathed, and there is no serious problem. At most, the explosion burned his clothes and stirred up dust that stained his body. How come? Zon Taomaru, who was observing the battle situation in various places from a distance, watched everything that happened in front of him in disbelief. He has high confidence in his toy, the war machine pacifist newly researched by the world government. The tough body from the bear serves as the strongest shield. The fruit power from Kizaru is the strongest spear. It can be said to be both offensive and defensive. Impeccable. On other battlefields, supernovas are not worth mentioning at all, and the performance of being almost crushed by pacifists also shows the strength of pacifists. But, that's how it exists. Arrived at Straw Hat Crew but shriveled. Moreover, it was only Luffy who made the shot. Zoro and Sanji, the other two main forces of the Straw Hat Pirates didn't even want to take action. Sure enough. 35. At this moment, Zon Taomaru thought of that figure in his mind. Especially those eyes. Those eyes that feel like they are going to be sucked in just by looking at the photos. What is Lu Chen? No. 35. Zon Taomaru opened his mouth, and Marine immediately greeted him. Now, immediately follow me to Straw Hat Luffy. 35. Also, I told the old man to come to support, I may not be able to deal with all of them. Hearing Zon Taomaru's words, the surrounding Marines were all confused. Sen Taomaru is the captain of the Marine Science Corps. Although he's not yet Marine, if he only considers his strength and doesn't consider other aspects, a vice admiral is definitely not too much. Such people are now in charge of the hundreds of pacifists under the command of the Science Corps. You actually said that you can't deal with a pirate group. Even the Supernova pirate group is shocking. Zon Taowen saw that no one was moving, and frowned slightly, a little dissatisfied. Don't you understand what I'm talking about? Yes. 35. Soon. The people below moved. Oh. 5. Luffy's fist has fallen. With just one punch, the pacifist was knocked out. Then, Luffy retracted his fist. Luffy's body didn't shrink as the fist returned to normal size. The giant's hammer covered by armament hockey didn't break any defenses. It's hard enough. 99. No, of Zhao's. As soon as Luffy finished speaking, Franky spoke slowly. Reach out to an obscure corner above the bear's head. That place is a little cracked. As the same mechanical life form. Franky was acutely aware of the difference between pacifists. Luffy's fist really didn't do much. But that's not because Luffy's attack is not high, but because the pacifist's armor is too thick. Just a few more hits from Luffy. Break his armor to reveal the circuitry inside. That's when a punch can solve the fork. Luffy, keep attacking there. According to my calculations, 2 more punches at most will break the defense, and then smash this damn robot. It is good. Hearing Franky's words, Luffy rushed up without hesitation. 2 big female fingers are placed in the mouth. Luffy snapped a bite. Just like blowing up a balloon, the air in the chest cavity is poured into the arms. Chapter 164 exceeds world government expectations. The 2 arms instantly swelled and became bigger. At this time, Luffy seems to have the arms of 2 giants. 2 huge arms covered the sky. The degree of stoutness even exceeds the huge trunk next to it. Faced with such a huge attack, the opposite pacifist's hands were aimed directly at Luffy. His eyes also shone with golden light. 4 lasers suddenly shot out from both hands and eyes. Third gear. Rubber. Double giant pistol. 35. Armament hockey is directly over Luffy's hands. There was no hesitation. Both hands go directly to the armor that has just been damaged. Boom. A huge roar sounded. The pacifist has made the best attack and defense it can make. But, still did not stop Luffy's offensive pace. 2 huge fists have already landed on the head of the pacifist. Just smash it. Expose the circuit inside. Is this thing so hard? Franky next to him put his hand on his chin. Eyes gleaming. This is supposed to be Vegapunk's material, right? As a mechanical fanatic, French is also very interested in this material. More than 070 so. What I saw before was also the Strike Freedom Gundam that I chose. Even if you don't need to do it yourself. However, follow-up maintenance, repair after damage, and other aspects need to be done by yourself. And in the world of One Piece, worth his study, there is only this Vegapunk. Wait a minute, there seems to be more around. 5. At this time. Observation hockey is the strongest so far, and the scream of Usopp, who is also the most sensitive to his surroundings, rang out. The whole person trembled like noodles. Look in the direction of his fingers. 2 more pacifists groped their way to Luffy's gang. Reinforcements. Sanji lit a cigarette and started to leave. I think it should be called by the guy who fought with Luffy. Zoro also pulled out Kaden Kyokutsu, also heading in the direction of the pacifists. Not just Luffy. Both Sanji and Zoro are also planning to duel the pacifists. Phew. 35. Usopp wiped the sweat from his brow. A cheerful smile appeared on his entire face. Although one of these 3 guys is less reliable than the other ACBD in life. But at this time, it's surprisingly reassuring. Now say peace of mind. At this time, Nami's voice trembled slightly. It doesn't seem like it's time yet. At this time. The 4th pacifist appeared behind everyone. Hand raised slightly. A laser shot over without hesitation, and the target was Usopp. Ripple. Robin's hand emerges from the ground. Hundreds of hands form a giant slap. A golden wave of energy begins to emerge from above. It's so easy to block the pacifist's laser. As expected of Sister Robin. Nami leaned over to Robin. So reassuring. Do not. Robin shook his head. Out of the corner of the eye, he glanced at Sanji and Zoro who were already fighting. I can't fully master the power of ripples yet. I can't deal with a pacifist by myself like the 3 behind me. As if confirming what Robin said. Next second, here comes the second attack of the pacifists. The hand summoned by Robin was only slightly resisted at this time, and it turned into a petal again. Although I can stop it in a short time, it is a robot after all. My physical strength is absolutely incomparable to it. While speaking, Robin summoned an arm again and began to block the attack of the 4th pacifist. Robin's reluctant expression also said it all. Although she can block it for a short time, it does not last long. In such a situation, Nami didn't know what to do for a while. 35. Then how can this be done? Listening to Robin's words, everyone else panicked. The strength and energy of this pacifist is simply too strong. It's simply not something that ordinary people can handle. It's okay. Franky twisted his neck. Can't we all go together? Although it's a bit inauthentic, this is also the first move by the world government. We're just here to live. Listening to Franky's words, everyone nodded. That's right. Nami recovered from the panic state, rubbed his hands slightly, and an electric arc appeared. Others also used their own abilities and tricks. With everyone's concerted efforts, it is even more efficient and destructive than Luffy, Zoro or Sanji's one-on-one duel. Although they are the last shot. However, the level of destruction was ahead of the 3 of Luffy. So far, divided into 4 battlefields, Luffy deals with 1 alone. Zoro deals with 1 by itself. Sanji deals with 1 alone. Robin, Nami, Chopper, Usopp, Franky and Brook teamed up to take on 1. My god, are these guys monsters? There is no way for the 4 to gain an advantage. Look at the sight among the image phone bugs. Zon Taomaru was stunned. This is the first appearance of the pacifist. Although it is not without damage. However, that doesn't take the entire fleet, or the combined efforts of multiple supernovae. And Luffy's group, even 1 person played 4. Look at this posture. There is even a faint appearance of being suppressed by some pacifists. Are there any other pacifists around? Zon Taomaru immediately asked. But, the answer is no. There are hundreds of pacifists under his command. Only, there are too many thieves in the Sabayati archipelago. After being dispersed throughout the Sabayati archipelago, it is a miracle to be able to gather 4 units in a small area. It is unrealistic to want more. Damn it. After learning the result, Zon Taowen could not wait to directly smash the imaging phone bug in his hand. Calm down a little. Zon Taomaru looked at Marine who was waiting beside him. Where is the old man? Can he come? Marine also knew that Zon Taomaru was getting angry right now. Can't PS him off. Hastily said. Kizaru Admiral is currently. Could not be reached. Can't get in touch. 5. Zon Taomaru was stunned for a moment. Then, as if thinking of something, a helpless expression appeared on his face. It's broken. The old man is afraid that the decoration is like a phone bug again. Continue to contact the old man. Don't stop until you contact the old man. Let's rush over first. Chapter 165 Solve at the same time, 4 pacifists. Please customize, please complete. 3rd gear. Rubber. Battle axe. Luffy now uses the 3rd gear more and more smoothly. The power is huge, and the damage is explosive. The only downside is the lack of speed. Fortunately, though, it's the robots. Although it is said that the speed is very fast, because of the program, it is very easy to guess the destination. At this moment, I saw that Luffy's entire right foot had swelled to an unbelievable level. Like a giant axe falling from the sky. Boom. A loud bang. Luffy's right foot, attached to armament hockey, fell suddenly. It fell exactly on the damaged place at the beginning. No matter how thick the robot armor is, the hard part is only the outside, and the inside is very fragile. After the battle just now, Luffy is already destroying the armor on the outside. Plus this kick, just completely destroy the pacifist. Even the entire body of the robot was crushed into a discus by Luffy. 3 swords, ghost slash. At this point, Zoro also ended the fight. Holding Kaden Kyokutsu in left and right hands. Reiatsu exudes around the body. He held the word Hidao in his mouth. The figure of the whole person is like a ghost. Quickly passed through the pacifist's robot body. The huge robot was chopped into dozens of pieces directly. Boom. With a loud bang, the pacifists directly exploded. The gate of life, open. Seeing that Luffy and Zoro have ended their fight, Sanji is not far behind. Directly open the 3rd disciple door. The whole body rises up the green steam representing life. Aim for the pacifist's head. Lift your right foot. First meet. With Sanji kicked out, the whole body has directly penetrated the head of the pacifist. That's right, is penetration. With this kick from 8 inner gates, it directly kicked the head of the pacifist. Quote exclamation mark. 35. Endless foot. Sanji turned quickly. 2 feet landed on the shoulders of the pacifist at a speed invisible to the naked eye. It's taking off the shoulders of the pacifists again. Loin. Leg meat. 5. Finish work. The pacifists have already been cut into pieces by Sanji. Clap. The sound of a lighter ringing. Sanji lights a cigarette. He looked forward with a cold expression. Boom. Exactly at this time, the explosion sounded. The pacifists behind him were very cooperative at this moment. It can be said that, real men never look back at the explosion, have been interpreted to the fullest extent. Let's go together. The last place. The place where Robin and the others were besieged and suppressed had come to an end at this time. I saw that Robin used the power of the fruit to conjure his hands. Directly hold the pacifists firmly in place. Franky jumped high. The punch that consumed the energy of the whole body of coke directly hit the pacifist in the face. It directly broke the almost invincible defensive armor of the pacifists. Roar. A roar. A huge monster appeared behind Robin and the others. It was Chopper. At this time, after training and gaining the power of the elf Xerneas. Although it is said that when you transform into a monster to strengthen, you still need the blue wave ball to assist. But it is already sensible. Obviously. Robin they are also very clear. There was no panic because Chopper turned into a monster enhancement. Didn't even take a look at Chopper. Wow, another roar sounded. Chopper's huge fist fell directly on the pacifist's face. The somewhat deformed face door armor that was smashed by Franky was directly shattered at this time. It's my turn next. 35. Nami grinned. Lightning flashes all over his body. Sudden. The figure quickened. At LV.3 level, she has preliminary combat power. Thunder attached to the entire fist, and unceremoniously hit the armor, which was broken by Franky and Chopper, exposing the circuit inside. Hey. 39. Zila. Zila. A sound of leakage sounded. The pacifist was already twitching his entire body. It's like it's going to run wild at any time. Such a situation. On the contrary, Nami and others were a little confused. If pacifists are normal patterns, they still have some patterns to look for. But if it's completely crazy, it might be more difficult to deal with. Don't panic. Right now. Brook appears. The crutch-shaped sword hit the pacifist's forehead precisely. Gradually, the pacifists fell silent. Zero. Ask for flowers. And forever quiet down. The circuit was destroyed and the interior was completely burnt out. Fixing it might be harder than rebuilding a pacifist. So far, the 4 pacifists were completely destroyed. Although Luffy and others cannot be said to be completely harmless. But also harmless. Hurry up. Franky was the first to get back on his feet. Help everyone, this pacifist armor may be a product of Vegapunk, I'm going to get a piece for research. With it our Thousand Sunny is very likely to become stronger again. Originally, after the battle with the pacifists, everyone including Luffy was tired. But as soon as they heard about Thousand Sunny, others cheered up. Zoro even went so far as to help with the cutting with a knife. 0. Damn it. Just at this time, a discordant voice sounded. Zon Taomaru arrived at this time. Watching the 4 pacifists all scrapped. There is even a pacifist armor cut into small pieces. An angry expression appeared on his entire face. What did you bastards do? Fat pig. Marine. I don't know. 35. Luffy and the others glanced at Zon Taomaru's direction, and then dismembered the pacifist's armor again. The pain of losing the boat, once is enough. You bastards. Ignore me, right. 35. A look of anger appeared on Zon Taomaru's face. The entire body disappeared instantly. Exactly the shave in Marine 6 styles. Don't look at his fat body. But the speed is not slow at all. Even Luffy didn't notice it. Bang. 35. A pusher. Franky was pushed straight away by him. It stopped after smashing several trees. Franky, who was already running out of gas, was hit so hard after the coke ran out. With a tilt of his head, he passed out. What are you doing, guy? Luffy got angry when his partner was beaten for no reason. The whole body turned slightly red. Second gear starts. Second gear. Rubber. Machine gun. Luffy's fist hit Zon Taomaru like raindrops. However, when it fell on Zon Taowen, it had no effect at all. Don't you have the strength to hit someone? Chapter 166. Bear's Rescue. Chen appears. Please customize. Please complete. How is this possible? Luffy looked at the undamaged Sen Taomaru and retracted his fist. At this time, he did consume most of his physical strength because of the battle with the pacifists. However, the strength of the second gear cannot be blocked so easily. Others were also dumbfounded. Sanji Zoro has a solemn expression on his face. Zon Taomaru's strength exceeded their expectations. Have you not eaten? Zon Taomaru sneered again. Luffy and the others did not speak this time. Right now. A golden light fell from the sky. Zon Taomaru, are you looking for me? The visitor was over 3 meters tall, wearing yellow stripes and sunglasses. A relaxed look on his face. It is Admiral Kizaru. After seeing Kizaru, Luffy and the others showed even more despair on their faces. 070. Already made them wonder how to deal with one battle peach pill, and here comes another admiral. At this point, it can be said that it is not an exaggeration to fall into despair. Zon Taomaru looked at Kizaru with a dissatisfied expression on his face. Master, what did you just do? Kizaru briefly recalled what he had just done. That is, to deal with some little pirates. That's right. In Kizaru's view, those so-called supernovae are just children. Shaking his head a little boringly. It's nothing, I just dealt with a few little pirates. Really, I can't even get in touch. Zon Taomaru was even more speechless about this. How many times have I told you that the phone bug is in your pocket, and the decorations on your watch are just decorations? Saying that, Zon Taomaru walked to Kizaru's side. Impatiently, he took the phone bug out of Kizaru's pocket. Extremely irritable, and Kizaru explained the difference between phone bugs and decorations. This is like a warm scene between father and son. Switching to Luffy and the others, it was so terrifying. Because, the two of them had no intention of taking Luffy in their eyes at all. Most importantly, as far as strength is concerned, that's true. Everyone, run separately. Luffy made the first decision to run away at this time. But, if you want to run, where is it so easy? Just heard Luffy say that. While the others are still waiting, Zon Taomaru and Kizaru moved first. One left and one right, the seemingly random positions actually completely surrounded Luffy and the others. There is no way to escape. What are you doing here? A huge figure descended from the sky. It was Bartholomew Bear. Nearly 8 meters tall, the huge weight didn't even cause a sound. It turns out that there are pirates. Talking room. The bear took off his gloves. With a slap, Luffy beside him was slapped. The speed was so fast that even Luffy himself couldn't react. Luffy, XN. Seeing Luffy just disappear in front of him. Zoro, Sanji and others were dumbfounded. For a while, the concern was chaotic, and they called the bear one after another. However, even if they are stronger now, but how could it be a bear's opponent? What's more, they have just defeated the 4 pacifists. Already out of stamina, the bear just raised his hand. One by one, they completely disappeared here. Bartholomew Bear. Kizaru looked at the bear in front of him, the calm expression on his face disappeared. The whole person became serious. As a colleague, he certainly knew what the bear was capable of. This seems to be sweeping away the pirates, but in fact it is very likely to save them. After all, who knows, if the bears sent them to the calm belt, where they died, or if they could survive on an island. Do you know the consequences of doing this? Don't think you can do whatever you want because you're part of the Vegapunk experiment. Not to be outdone, Shang looked at Kizaru in front of him. His expression was flat. What do you mean, a time? Kizaru and Shang went head to head. No one intends to step back. Ha ha, quote. With a sneer, Zon Taomaru next to him came forward to ease the embarrassment when he saw this situation. The bear may not be Kizaru's opponent, but if you want to kill the bear, Kizaru will never be better. The big event is coming soon. If Kizaru is injured, it will likely affect the outcome of the big event. After all, the opponent they want to deal with is not an ordinary person, but the man who is known as the strongest man in the sea. The main thing is, although Shang Gang's approach is somewhat suspicious, it is also an important combat force against Whitebeard. Now is also the time when bears can finally become self-aware. After a few days, there is absolutely no need to worry about whether the bear is a traitor or not. Not to worry about whether he's letting Straw Hat Crew go. Master, have you caught those little pirates you mentioned earlier? No. Kizaru scratched his head. He also wanted to understand this. At the moment, he is also pretending to be stupid. A confused expression appeared on his face. They were all maimed by me, and the rest will be handed over to the other marines, right? You are so confused. Zon Taomaru hated that the iron would not become steel, grabbed Kizaru and was about to leave. That's all Supernova. Do you understand Supernova? What's the difference between you handing them over to regular marines and letting them go? Talking. Kizaru, Zon Taomaru and others have gradually disappeared nearby. The bear watched them leave, but did not leave. Are you waiting for me? Wait until Kizaru and Zon Taomaru leave completely. A figure appeared from the dark. It was Chen. Certainly. Bear didn't deny it either. As a member of the Revolutionary Army, Shang is very aware of Chen's strength. That was the man who was able to tie the dragon just after Luffy went to sea. In fact, he didn't know whether Chen was here or not. It's just a guess. Unexpectedly, I actually waited for Chen. It is also considered a 1.3 windfall. I don't understand why you want to watch Luffy and the others get beat up. How can there be smooth sailing in one's life? Chen looked at the bear and asked directly. He had thought about this question before when he first learned of the Sabayati archipelago accident. He didn't make the move, but it was deliberate. Things like this can also help them grow better, don't they? Shang looked at Chen with a little doubt. However, at this moment, his whole body has been mechanically transformed, and he can no longer make any expressions. Having said that, but aren't you afraid that Luffy and the others are really hurt? In this regard, Chen shrugged and didn't care. It's just an injury, they are not pampered young masters and young misses. Or do you think people can become pirate kings without experiencing setbacks? Chapter 167 Conversation between Shang and Chen. Or, other people's dreams. Chen looked at the bear like this. These words, others may only understand a little bit. But the bear will definitely approve. For the Revolutionary Army, for the future of the world. The bear gave his life and everything. It is. The bear nodded slightly. As Chen thought, Shang quickly understood Chen's intention. If a person can be promoted with some non-fatal desperation, then the transaction is too calculated. That said, I'd like to know, if I don't do it. What are you going to do? As the shot and Marine Admiral front hard steel, or are there other plans? 35. Chen naturally thought about this. It's been a few days since I came to the world of One Piece. He has also gradually become familiar with and adapted to this One Piece world with his own. Although it is roughly the same as the original plot, there are also some world line changes. Naturally, he also built a backup for this. That is to explode his own strength to push Kizaru back. Then use Sharingan to control Luo Tufei and others, and let them embark on a 2-year practice again. New World is no ordinary place. Although they belong to the same world. But there are earth-shaking changes in strength. Now Luffy and others can sweep the entire Grand Line under their own training, but after the New World, they can't make any tricks, not to mention the middle and lower levels. Chen will use these 2 years to create a more rigorous training plan for them, so that they can have smooth sailing after entering the New World, at least in terms of strength. Of course there were other plans. 55. As for the specific plan, the matter has already passed anyway, so I don't need to say more. Chen was talking to the bear, while starting to interrogate the system. System, is there any way to keep the bear consciousness? Ding. Received the host query, looking for the answer. As a system, it naturally knows what will happen to the bear in the future. Immediately began a targeted search. Ding. The answer is found. Close black lens bracket. Method 1. Cultivating the method of cultivating immortals and reaching the stage of spiritual ascension, according to the system deduction, even if it is only to cultivate the soul, it will take at least 50 years. Close black lens bracket. Method 2. Use the power of the magic weapon to absorb the bear's soul, according to the system deduction. To obtain magic weapons such as soul-devouring bell and soul-devouring fan, it takes at least 500 years of practice to obtain them. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Method 3. Close black lens bracket. There are so many ways the system looks for it. However, most of them cannot be achieved in a short period of time. At least it will take decades to solve. And Shang is not even half a month away from the last surgery. In this regard, Chen also knows that there is no good way to continue to introduce like this. To save the bear, or at least to keep the bear conscious, requires a different way of thinking. After thinking for a while, he asked again, System, is there a way to save the bear's consciousness within a day? Ding. Received the host query, the search method is in progress. Soon, with the transformation of Chen's problem, the system also changed the search method. This time, it is obvious that the system search and search time has become longer. Ding. The answer is found. Close black lens bracket. Just as Chen was anxiously waiting, the system's voice finally sounded again. Method 1. The method of fusion of the soul. This is a kind of evil magic method that completely integrates the body and the soul. It comes from the plane of fantasy. It is a practice method that sacrifices life and forgets death for its body. As long as the soul melts into the body, it can be done in one day. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Method 2. L. Method 3. L. No need to look for the system. The first method, can a mechanized body work? Open black lens bracket. Host, wait a moment, the calculation is in progress. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Ding. The deduction is over. Close black lens bracket. Answer. Yes, because the soul is smashed into the body, so it can be said whether it is a physical table or a mechanized body. However, it should be noted that the damage to the mechanized body will directly cause damage to the soul. Once injured, it will suffer more than the physical pain is 100 times stronger. Close black lens bracket. Hearing the system's words, Chen's eyes lit up. Having the first method is enough. Chen looked at the bear in front of him, and suddenly changed his words, as the dragon. Okay. The bear looked around. After realizing that there was really no one, he was relieved. He looked at Chen in front of him with disbelief in his eyes. How did you know I was a revolutionary army? Looking at Shang's unbelievable expression, Chen smiled slightly. Of course he is relying on God's perspective. But it is impossible to say so. Shaking his head mysteriously. I don't just know that you are a revolutionary army, I even know that you are about to be completely transformed into a robot by Vegapunk. 99. How? 39. If Chen knew that he was a member of the revolutionary army, it was likely that Long had revealed it to him. So this news is completely impossible for outsiders to know. There are absolutely no more than 10 people in the whole world who know about this. How did you know? This moment, Bear couldn't calm down completely. It's not that he doesn't trust Chen. But too surprised. Chen shook his head again. I don't need you to care about how I know. What I want to ask you is. 39. I have a way to get rid of mechanization here, do you want to try it? 070. Get rid of mechanization. The bear frowned slightly. If he doesn't want to do mechanized surgery, no one in this world can force him. But he must stay in the world government to collect intelligence for the revolutionary army. It's not that you don't do mechanized surgery, but that you can use your own consciousness to completely control the mechanized body. 5. Can there be such a way? By this time, why doesn't Shang understand what Chen means? After all, his time with Vegapunk is not short. This is technology that even Vegapunk can't do. Can you really do it? Of course. Chen looked at the bear confidently. Just say whether you want to save your consciousness. If you don't want to, just pretend I didn't say it. Yes, I do. How could you not want to? Who in this world would really be willing to disappear? He was able to be so selfless, mainly for the future of the revolutionary army. Mainly for the future of the world. Now that there is a way to preserve consciousness, how could he not want to? Even if it's not for yourself. In order to bring back more information to the revolutionary army. Also excellent. Think. Shang looked at Chen excitedly. His eyes may be the only place where he can express his feelings now. What do I need to do? Chapter 168. The Choice of the Bear, the Battle of the Emperor's Deputy Level. Please customize, please complete. Very good. Chen smiled slightly, and a hooked expression flashed in his eyes. Helping the bear was just a whim. After all, the thought that the bear would be a toy and slave to celestial dragons when he was completely remodeled was a bit of a chore. But, although this training was entirely his own whim, Chen didn't intend to let him make money in vain. At least, let yourself watch a hearty battle too, don't you? Such. Chen briefly talked about his training dojo and the new rules. That's it, you just need to test the training dojo for me, and I'll help you retain consciousness. How? The bear looked at Chen. He had no choice at all. Naturally agreed. Crack, a snap of fingers. Lu Chen and Shang have come to the difficulty gate. At this time, the difficulty gate was directly closed to the first 7 seats. Oh who, royal rank, or, do I think he is the vice-royal rank? There was a thought in Lu Chen's eyes. After all, the rules of this training dojo are constructed according to one's own consciousness. Difficulty judgment and strength judgment are the same. Looks like you don't have many options. Lu Chen turned to look at the bear. Which difficulty are you going to choose? According to Lu Chen's description, Shang has a simple understanding of this training dojo. Difficulty also represents the reward that Lu Chen will help train with. No matter what difficulty I choose, you will only give me a way to preserve my consciousness, right? 35. Nature. Shang is worthy of being an undercover agent arranged by the Revolutionary Army in the world government. And he still hides a super undercover who hasn't been discovered by others for a long time. The thought reaction is really fast enough. Looking at Lu Chen, Shang said indifferently, then, I naturally have to choose the least difficult one. Okay. 35. Actually, I just want to see if you can challenge a higher level existence. 95. Lu Chen stretched out his right hand and pointed to the sky. Pop. A snap of fingers. The bear has been teleported into the arena. And the opponent he will face is Purgatory Kyojuro. It was him. Seeing the enemy, Lu Chen's eyes showed a hint of surprise. The person who appeared this time should be regarded as one of the most popular characters in recent years. Yenju Purgatory Kyojuro from Blade of Demon Slayer. Xing Shoulang's outspoken character knows how to be considerate of others, but he has gained a lot of fans. There was a time when the popularity of the protagonist was even higher. In this way, it is somewhat worth seeing. Lu Chen looked excited. A snack cart had already appeared in front of him. Melon seed drink, potato chips, there are even instant noodles and box lunches. It can be seen that the more time you experience in the training dojo, Lu Chen became more and more proficient at mastering the things in the illusion. Yenju and the bear, a competition between wills, it's interesting. In the arena, the bear looked at the boy with strange hair in front of him with a puzzled face. This is a person from Otherworld, because he only uses a knife, so I won't tell you about his ability. This time, Lu Chen just briefly introduced to Shang that Xing Shoulang is from Otherworld, and did not introduce too much. After all, it sounds a bit cryptic to say the sun blade and breathing method. It's actually just gymnastics. If there are too many introductions, not only is it not a sharing of information, but more like Lu Chen is pulling aside. Start now. Clap. It fell with a snap of fingers. Xing Shoulang slowly opened his eyes. Even in the face of Shang, a behemoth nearly 7 meters tall, he did not panic at all. He took out his own sun knife and said calmly, "Are you my enemy?" Bad to deal with. This is a man of great faith. Shang and Xing Shoulang came to this result just after looking at each other. Remove gloves from hands. A serious expression appeared on his face. Even if Xing Shoulang is just a phantom constructed by Lu Chen. Not someone who can handle it casually. Hello, please enlighten me. Polite. The bear's performance highlights these 2 words. In the auditorium, Lu Chen looked at Shang and Xing Shoulang in the arena with great interest. It seems that my will plays a great role in this fantasy. Why do you say so? That is because it is almost impossible for Xing Shoulang to appear at the difficulty level of 8. Difficulty 8, among the pirates, belongs to the powerhouse of the Emperor's deputy level. Although, Blade of Demon Slayer, also belongs to the same super plane as One Piece. However, there is a gap between the super planes. According to the destructive power of the 2 worlds, Blade of Demon Slayer is at least a lot weaker. Even the most invincible Jigyu Yuani in Blade of Ghost Slayer should have only reached the difficulty level of 8. Yenju Xing Shoulang, or even a top string ghost of the same level as Xing Shoulang can appear on difficulty 8. Apparently it was beautified and strengthened by Lu Chen's ideas. Backquote. If you say that, then a lot of characters who are obviously much weaker, if I want to, can also improve to a certain level and fight with the people I want to see. On the contrary, strong people can also be weakened to a certain extent according to my thoughts, and they can fight against weak people. Thought here. Lu Chen was even more excited. This is a very happy discovery. The fantasy world will change according to Lu Chen's thoughts. But if this change is not detected, then even Lu Chen wouldn't find out. Did not expect. Just wanted to witness the strength of the bear with my own eyes. Then found such an amazing thing. One type. Shiranui. In the arena, Xing Shoulang has already rushed up. The knife was completely covered in flames. Incredibly fast. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of the bear. The sun blade swept across. The flames went towards Shang of Zhao's like a beast. As if to devour everything. Good come. The bear also had a solemn expression. The whole person made a serious expression. The meat ball in his hand that didn't fit him at all swelled into a ball of energy light. Directly blocked Xing Shoulang's attack. Huge elasticity. Directly throwing Xing Shoulang back several steps. How come? A hint of surprise appeared in Xing Shoulang's phantom eyes. He was obviously surprised by the ability of the flesh ball fruit. The ability to bounce back attacks. Xing Shoulang looked at Shang with a slight frown. After seeing that his own flames couldn't do any harm to the bear, a thought appeared on his face. If you don't come, then I'll call. Seeing Xing Shoulang in a stalemate. The bear flew. The air in the sky is gradually condensed with both hands. A meatball-shaped gas appeared. Pressure cannon. Chapter 169 Yenju is a real man. The bear shot is the ultimate move. The gathered air seemed to really be transformed into a cannonball. At this time, the invisible air was distinguished from the surrounding, as if it had color. Go. As the bear compresses the air gathered in his hands. It was thrown directly to Xing Shoulang. After the cannonball formed by the air left the bear's hand, it began to sweep around. Countless rubble was overturned by this powerful airflow. The bricks on the ground were directly churned into slag. Dusty. Stones fly. A real tornado sweeping scene. So strong. Xing Shoulang looked at the air cannon in front of him with a surprised expression on his entire face. However, he did not mean to back down. A crazy expression appeared on the whole person's face. That's how delicious it is. The boldness that belongs to him is vividly revealed at this moment. Xing Shoulang held the sun wheel knife in his hand. The whole face was filled with madness and fighting intent. Home together. The most common one among the tricks used by Japanese swords. At this moment, Xing Shoulang's whole face was covered with the word, fearless. In this way, quietly waiting for the approach of the bear pressure cannon. As time passed by, the pressure cannon gradually drew closer. Seeing the bear's pressure cannon is approaching. Apricot 070 Shoulang's eyes suddenly stared at the boss, Type 2, Rising Yantian. Along with Xing Shoulang, he called out the name of the trick. The whole person exploded in an instant. The sun held in the hand turns from bottom to top at this time. An extremely pure flame spewed out instantly, illuminating the entire arena with the momentum that pierced the sky. Boom. A huge roar sounded. It was as if the whole world was about to shatter. Shang and Xing Shoulang's tricks have been completely detonated at this moment. It is bounded by pressure cannons and sun knives. The entire arena seemed to have been bombarded with shells. In an instant, a huge hole appeared. Wow. 35. In the audience. Lu Chen crushed the chicken feet in his hand. Such a wonderful scene made him even forgot to spit out his bones and swallowed it. Certainly. This is not something to be promoted. Lu Chen's strength also doesn't care about these fragile chicken bones. Wonderful. Although Shang and Xing Shoulang only passed a trick. But Lu Chen was sure. It was one of the most exciting, high-level fights he had ever seen. The two of them can now be said to be a chess opponent and a talented person. Yu Guang secretly glanced at the snack cart beside him. A bag of melon seeds fell into Lu Chen's hands. Sure enough, melon seeds are still useful. It won't get your hands dirty, and it won't delay watching a great game. In the arena, at this time, the dust and smoke generated after the tricks were collided had gradually dissipated. Looking at the bear in front of him, Xing Shoulang completely changed his face. Extremely serious. You are my opponent. 99. The bear didn't feel anything about it. His everything was handed over to the Revolutionary Army, and the future of this world. His strength is not weak. But it didn't seem to be the case. It can be said, purely on the realm of thought. The bear is even more than 90% of the people Lu Chen knows. After all, the sacrifice of self for others will be able to be done by a large number of people under special circumstances. However, there are very few people who can endure the transformation of their bodies by others and still think about how to repay the whole world and bring new life to the world. Although it is difficult to deal with, it is not impossible. Looking at Xing Shoulang in front of him, Bear is doing analysis. He didn't show any expression. This is not because he has become a man of steel and cannot make expressions. But he really didn't take Xing Shoulang in front of him seriously. He already knew a lot about Xing Shoulang's attack methods. In the final analysis, it is just a knife and a flame, and there is nothing too great about it. In other words, there is no trick that can threaten him. Whether it's a flame or a knife, his flesh ball fruit can be easily blocked, and even Xing Shoulang can eat the evil fruit. His eyes stared at Xing Shoulang. ACBD, although the bear thinks so, but it is also under the circumstances of his complete attention. With his strength and might, if you are not careful, you may not be able to cut in half with one knife. But it's definitely enough to seriously injure a bear. At this moment, the bear raised his hands high. The air in the arena seemed to be directly drained at this moment. How come? Xing Shoulang opened his mouth slightly. Although I can understand what he is going to say. But there was no sound at all. The arena has limited space. The amount of air that can be stored is naturally limited. At this moment, Shang's move actually sucked out all the air in the entire arena. Fine. Lu Chen noticed the abnormality in the arena and quickly added it in. This allowed the arena to fully recover. Pressure cannon. The bear strikes again. Still a pressure cannon. The tricks are the same, but the power is completely different. This shot, I am afraid it is more than 10 times that of the shot just now. What a strong opponent. Xing Shoulang had an uncertain look in his eyes for the first time at this time. Boom. Another blow. This time, Xing Shoulang chose to dodge for the first time. Seeing Xing Shoulang's dodging, Shang said slowly, I thought you wouldn't dodge. 35. I didn't dodge before because your tricks couldn't cause harm to me. Xing Shoulang quickly approached the bear. The mouth did not stop. You guys really gave me too many surprises. If I had to force the move just now. 99. Now I'm afraid that even if I don't die, I will become half disabled. 99. Although I don't mind being killed by a strong man like you, I still want to talk about enjoying it again. Talking room. Xing Shoulang jumped high. The sun blade was full of flames at this moment. Even under the high atmosphere of Xing Shoulang, his body was also burned by flames at the moment, wrapped in it. 3 types. Qi Yan Vientian. Xing Shoulang jumped directly over the bear's body. The bear is nearly 7 meters tall. In addition, there is still some difference in height between the two. Xing Shoulang's jump definitely exceeded 10 meters in height. At this time, the flames of his whole body are in the air, relying on his son's turn as the root and prototype. Once again, a flaming sword made entirely of flames formed on the periphery. Cut, accompanied by Xing Shoulang shouted. He was completely unified in spirit and spirit. The man seemed to be transformed into a knife, slashing towards the bear suddenly. This posture. He was planning to kill the bear with one blow. So arrogant. The bear spoke calmly, hand raised slightly. It was placed directly under Xing Shoulang's knife. A different kind of light flickered on it. Chapter 170th Fierce Battle, the results are released. Boom. A slightly cute sound effect sounded. That's right. It's this kind of cute sound. And it really came from the arena, inside. Xing Shoulang's sun wheel knife and breath of fire were directly guarded by the bear. This is normal, the bear's fruit ability is really pervert. 35. Looking at the scene in the arena, Chen didn't have too many surprises. The meatball fruit can be said to be the paramesha fruit that appears in the entire work. No, it should be said to be the most inexplicable fruit among all the fruits. It can perfectly defend against any tricks and even rebound. Capable of compressing air as a weapon and a means of attack. Even, it can eliminate the damage in the body. Really done. Melee, long range, attack, defense, treatment and so on, all aspects of the development of the Trinity. And none of them are weak. Putting the seeds down, Chen opened a bag of potato chips. Put a piece of content into your mouth. However, if Xing Shoulang was to be defeated, he wouldn't have been defeated, right? That's right. Of course Xing Shoulang would not be defeated so easily. There was also a clear expression on his face. As early as when the bear showed the flesh ball on his fingers, he had already noticed and guarded against it. In other words, such a contrast, even a somewhat cute meatball. It's impossible not to be attractive at all. It is reasonable to speculate on this. Moreover, the bear's tricks are also completed by the meatball. Don't take extra precautions. It is impossible. It's not over yet. Xing Shoulang is also in high spirits. The flames all over his body burned even more. With Xing Shoulang's madness, for a while, half of the arena is filled with the flames of Xing Shoulang. The wandering shape of Sheng Yan. Shout out with tricks. Xing Shoulang's whole person became extremely crazy. The flames around him appeared around him like a tornado. His cracking method is simple and crude. Since your meatball is able to perfectly defend. Well, just attack other aspects of the body. As for how to attack. According to the speed of the bear is obviously unlikely to be hit by him. Then there is only one way. All round, no dead end strike. Cut, accompanied by Xing Shoulang's roar again. The flames that were only gathered around him began to move sideways in the direction of the bear. This posture, as if to directly command the fire tornado that fills half of the arena and burn the bear to death. It's not over yet. Even so, Xing Shoulang didn't stop either. Flames began to condense on the sun blade in his hand. A sturdy, nearly 5-meter-long flaming tiger has appeared. Wu's type, Flame Tiger. Accompanied by Xing Shoulang, he swung the sun blade out again. The flame tiger rushed towards the bear's room. First come first. Directly in front of the bear. This flaming tiger seems to have really gained sanity at this time. The moment when he was close to the bear, he opened his mouth and bit the bear's head. The trick is quite interesting. A look of surprise flashed in the bear's eyes. Looking at the flames in front of him, he also looked serious. He knew that Xing Shoulang was definitely not that easy to deal with. But I didn't expect it to be so difficult to deal with. The meatball above both hands glowed again. Take advantage of the situation and hit the direction of the tiger. A slap, crack, 35, sounded, as if it really hit the body. Subsequently, a thin film of air condensed around the tiger's body. Next second, the flaming tiger has disappeared from the arena. Send it. In the audience, Chen pondered slightly after seeing Shang's trick. This is a magic trick. It can stably send the person you want to teleport to where you want to go. This trick, although there is a time delay. However, the speed is also much faster. In Chen's memory, in addition to the teleportation in Dragon Ball, in the Japanese comics. There are few moves that can be better than this ability. If you have this ability, I would really like it. Talking, Chen put the remaining half bag of potato chips aside. After staring blankly at his palm for a few seconds, he shook his head. Never mind, although it's not a shame to have a meatball on your hand. The point is, I can't hold a weapon, and it takes time to get used to eating. Chen was thinking about whether he should get the ability to obtain the flesh ball fruit. The battle in the arena has escalated again. 0. Ask for flowers. The level of danger is only high, although the bear beat the flame tiger. But the giant flame tornado that almost swept half of the arena was approaching at this time. Facing this circumstances, the bear remained unhurried. Put your hands on top of your head. A shockingly huge attraction appeared on the bear's 2 palms. Either air, or the flame tornado displayed by Xing Shoulang in the air is unbelievably attracted to it at this moment. Far from being too much of a threat to the bears, these forces. It even added flame capabilities to the bear's pressure cannon. Does this count as an enemy? Xing Shoulang looked at the pressure cannon that was gradually compressed by the bear, and laughed at himself. However, it's not over yet. Everything is subject to change. 0. Xing Shoulang has not given up until now. Close your eyes. The whole person seems to have entered a state of meditation at this time. Profound truth. 9 types, purgatory. For a moment. The endless flame was mobilized by Xing Shoulang. The bear on the other side is finally ready. The pressure cannon with flames has been completed. Cut. Go. A time. The two made quick moves. The swapping of tricks was completed almost at the same time. So in the next second, the tricks of the two people directly expanded. Boom, boom, boom. A series of violent explosions sounded. A trace of smoke has gradually risen in the entire arena. Can't see what's going on inside. However, the result is already out. Because Shang had returned to the audience at this time. Fantastic test. 35. Lu Chen looked as if nothing had happened. The snack carts and the junk eggs that were eaten were long gone. On this kind of thing, Lu Chen has also become more and more skilled. This guy is not easy to deal with. After being silent for a few seconds, Shang also sighed. If it weren't for the fact that his fruit ability was too invincible, whoever lost would win. At least, solo on bodybuilding, he's not at all a match for the back waves. Listening to Shang's words, Lu Chen nodded as he should. Of course it's not easy to deal with. He is the same as you, at the level of the Emperor's deputy. Shang.